Hey guys, welcome. I'm not late, am I? I don't think I am. So, how are my friends? How is everybody? Please tell me I didn't hit mute. Oh my god, this thing. The truth is, I wasn't going to do a live today, but something exciting happened. I um I worked today and they're doing a bunch of road work um where I work. I work 1 day a week and they're doing road work and it's like 144 degrees or something crazy outside. And it just was super slow and they were like, you can go ahead and go. And I was like, you don't have to tell me twice. So I called Jeffrey and I said, "Jeffrey, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm at home." And I said, "Let's go to lunch." And he said, "I'm right there with you, Cookie." So we went to lunch. We went to a barbecue place, which I don't usually eat a lot of meat, but I got a brisket sandwich with jalapenos, and it was everything right in the world. Steven, I'm so glad you're in here, my friend. You sent me a message. Yes, guys, I have a lot of messages, but since I worked today, I have to actually work, and they don't let me check that shit at work. So I haven't checked it yet, but I will answer every one of you. I spend usually twice a day, except the days I work. I spend some time in the morning and I spend some time at night. Yes, that is a huge ring, isn't it? I never notice it, but then when I see it in my computer, I'm like, wow, that is big. I spend time every morning and every evening before I go to bed answering messages. And we're talking hundreds. So don't worry, I will get back to you. I always do. Um, Christina, I'm glad that you made it, babe. Welcome. Um, Good morning from Australia. That's awesome. That's so cool. You love my face, Kelly Williams. Thank you. I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy, it's hot and too much. I needed to wash my hair today, but when it gets this insanely hot, I don't like to because then I get out of, and you guys know I only wash my hair like every 4 or 5 days. Yeah, I think it is, Steven. It's a some kind of a rock. I don't know, but it's almost as long as my finger. You guys know I like big rings, crazy rings. My mic is cutting out. Is everyone experiencing that? Somebody else tell me that because I don't know how to fix that. I've never had that problem before. Simply Sarah says my mic is cutting out. Is that the case? Sounds fine to you? Mic's fine. Okay, Sarah, it might be on your end. It might be your Wi Fi then. Okay, because otherwise we got to call Jeff down here, and I don't even know that he knows how to fix that. Okay, everybody's saying it's okay. Sarah, check your Wi Fi, babe. Guys, but back to that. I only wash my hair like every 4 or 5 days. I don't want to do it when it's this hot because then I feel like I have to wash it again tomorrow because I'm all sweaty. So the point is, that's why I have this hat on. And then I threw on this weird. Does anybody know this doesn't have anything to do with changing the world or anything at all? Um, does anybody like? I bought this weird ass thing I'm wearing over guys, I go a little crazy over like Black Friday and Christmas sales. Like some of the brands that I love, if they have like a huge sale, I buy stuff. Does anybody like Farm Rio? That's a brand that I think Anthropology sells, but they also, yeah, I use dry shampoo. I use the hell out of dry shampoo. Anthropology sells it. They're kind of out there. They're their own brand too. I think they have a standalone store in New York. They're kind of out there. Like their prints can be weird, but some of their stuff I really like. And I got this weird ass caftan thing over the Christmas holiday. It was like $350 and it was marked down to like 75 bucks. And I was like, well, I'm going to lose money on that if I don't buy it. And they had it in my size. And now this is the first time I'm wearing it. The tags are still on it. I'm like, do I want to put this on my Poshmark? But look, it has like embroidered not peacocks. What the hell are these things? Parrots? Yeah, a parrot, something like that. And then look, it has like these cool tassels, like Farm Rio. No one cares, by the way. Not one person. Oh, one person commented. This is where I go off into the weeds and it's really just for me. Nobody gives a shit. And I don't expect anyone to. You guys are funny. But I, as you know, love to shop and love fashion. And this thing, I think I went too crazy. It's actually, like, hard for me to style this, I didn't know, but I think if Jeff took me somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry, Keela. Keela, I thought about reaching out to tell you I was going live, but then I feel like Keela has a job and she's actually helping people in the world. I really don't want to interrupt you from that to be like, I'm going live because I'm so important. No. So I purposely did not reach out to you. It's not that I forgot. I just didn't want to. Yeah, not a flamingo. I think they're parrots. You care? Okay, thank you, Jilbo Baggins. Parrots or eagles, Nikia? I think it's no, guys. Flamingo. These are not flamingos. Steven, these are parrots. They have the color of parrots, right? Okay. Anyway, even that, like, I like to style stuff, but even this is kind of out there for me. But I love Farm Rio. Yeah, macaws. Is that what it is? I think somebody got it. Sterling got it. Laura Font got it. You guys are the winners. I think that's right. I think that's right. Actually, no, I think we were right. I think it's okay. Everybody's right. Okay, everybody's right. Um, it's just so weird. Like, look at how crazy the sleeve is. Like everything's embroidered. Farm Rio is a very like detailed. I would say they go into detail, but they also have some crazy ass prints. I'm not gonna lie. During that sale, I also bought a coat that has like bright ass neon colored leopards all over it, and I'm like, really, Reese? Like, am I gonna style this right? Is it gonna be right for me? I don't know, but we'll find out when it's coat season. It was coat season when I bought it and I never wore it. I got scared. But I don't leave the house very much. You guys know this. And now I leave it even less than my ass is being chased all over town by those crazy Scientologists, those pesky Scientologists. Uh okay, Lisa, I'm glad you're in here. You're here for a reason as well. Used to train exotic birds. Yes, those are scarlet macaws. Okay, Lisa wins. I believe you. Um, I'm here for Lisa actually. I on my way home from eating lunch with Jeff, I thank you, Julie. It's not a shirt. It's a long ass dress, you guys. Like super crazy. Look at the embroidery. Jeff was like, "Oh wow, you look Native American." I was like, "That's not Native American. It's a caftan." Anyway, silly. He's silly. He doesn't know. And I tried to style it with some different jewelry and my turquoise. I just didn't know. I don't know. And with the dirty hair, you just can't do it. Offer the PIs hot dogs and ground beef. I can't because that's what I offer to my raccoons and wild coyote, and they would probably attack the PIs if I gave them their food for the evening. And honestly, I that's too many mouths to feed. I can't feed the PIs and the raccoons and their three new kids they had, plus Wiley, my coyote. So Rocco and Cooney are the mom and dad of the raccoons. Their three kids. I have a possum, but he won't tell me his name. He's very quiet. I think he's old and I think he has an accent. And then I have a stray cat. I think his name starts with a W. He tried to say it once, but he's got like missing teeth and I couldn't understand him. It's either like Walter or Winston. I don't know. But I feed him too. And that's too many mouths to feed, you guys. I can't also feed the PIs. Jeff can't afford everybody. Okay. That's just where we're at. I don't make any money. So, um, yeah, I could give him the cigarette cookies from the Denise from the gross potluck that I'm trying to forget about that we were at the other day. That not gonna lie, my stomach seems to be not right ever since I ate those cigarette cookies. Um, oh yeah, Nikia totally would do. Babe, I have so many wide brimmed hats. I just feel weird wearing one on a live, but why? I'm wearing a ball cap. I should wear one of my hats. Um, Yeah, it's too many mouths to feed. Oh, it could be Wilbur. His name could be Wilbur. I don't know. He I couldn't understand him. But we feed all of them and it's a lot. Jeff has to work overtime to feed me and Huxley and all them and I'm not feeding the PIs, honestly. So, I got a couple things in my PO box today and first thing I got because it's open. This was from someone named I took a picture of the box. Laura Gonzalez. If you're in this chat, I hope you are. I haven't reached out on Messenger to see if you and I are talking because I literally just opened these. I'm so excited about this. I got a baby Lord Xenu. Is this the cutest thing? Guys, this is such amazing artwork to me too that people can do this. Like, do you know how long this probably took this individual to make? Like, this is beautiful. It's art. I'm so impressed by people who are crafty and can do things. Obviously, um, being raised in the ice, I didn't learn a lot. I had to learn from the fishes. Oh, Mama Joe, opossum, probably an Irish accent. He does have an accent, and I don't know what his name is, but yeah, I bet he is. I bet he is. Keela, how was Huxley's first day of school? You look beautiful. Thank you. Um, he's so funny. We got him from football practice last night, and uh, well, Jeff did because I was on that live with Aaron, and he came home, and I said, "Hey, how was it?" And he said, "I got suspended for 2 weeks." And I was like, "Yeah, right." And he was like, "Just kidding. It was great." And I said, "Yeah, it's more like it." He said hi to all of his old teachers, and I said, "You're so sweet, Hux." He's like me. He really likes people and he remembers people, and I love that about him. Very sentimental. Anne Marie, Reese, you need to write a book. Feels like we only have had parts of your story. Guys, we need to talk about that sometime. I've gotten a lot of private messages about people who want to know. I'm like, go watch the original video. But you know what? I don't have to direct people to do that. We can talk about it some more. If you guys want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Then I had a lady last night. I was talking about it with Aaron, and some lady chimed in and was like, "Should Reese be talking about this anymore?" She was like, "I don't think Reese should be talking about this stuff anymore." And I was like, none of us know what that means, and we're going to just pretend you didn't say it. I don't know what you mean by should I be talking about this anymore. That's literally why I have a channel. I mean, to talk about caftans and dirty hair as well, of course, and cigarette cookies at a potluck that's super sketch, questionable. But other than that, yeah, I think we should be talking about it. And it feels right. Kind of feels like that's why I'm here. No? Okay. I think we're all on the same page except that lady. Fun and funky. Relatable Reese, I heard you on Aaron. Are you really going to play recordings? Yeah, sure am. And I would play them by myself, but I feel like Aaron would be a good person to play some of the recordings, stop it, and then we both talk about it. You know, Aaron and I like to bounce off of each other. There's the sky's the limit on what we talk about. And he's so much smarter than me in so many ways. He's very, very sharp. I'm the first to admit I'm not sharp at all. So I just think that, my dullness and being raised in an ice cube, I do bring some things to the table. Um, but not that kind of sharpness that Aaron brings. So I think we need both of us here for that. What am I hearing? Bo, you are kidding me right now. Come here. I know you're doing it. He's eating the cat food. That dirty fucking weasel. Bo Quibel, come here. Uh-huh. Oh, really? Are you trying to pretend? Look, he brought his avocado to me. He's like, "Look, I wasn't doing anything. I'm just with my avocado, mom. Look, literally, so innocent. I wasn't doing it. You're a liar and a fraud, and the people know it. That cat food's expensive, Bo." Um, what a liar. Anyway, what was I saying? Who knows? Oh, the audio. Yeah, I want to play it. I have a ton of audio of so I'm kind of going back. Yeah, it does go fast, Jilbo Baggins. The chat goes fast. He's still doing it. He knows I caught him and I can hear him in her bowl. Bo! Well, he thinks I'm dumb. That's for sure. Um, yeah, it's ridiculous. This is my own fault. We don't come to the basement. No one in this house uses the basement except Huxley sometimes. So he's like, "Wow, there's food down here." Um, so so I have a ton of you. I haven't really kind of touched on this. I have a ton of audio recordings. You are a shit. I can't believe you're still doing it. Bo. What a it's B. I spell it Beau. I don't know. Maybe it's Bo. I don't know that it matters. Lisa, hey sugar, have you thought about putting the cat food up higher? Most smart people would. Here's the thing, Lisa. I have chairs in the way, so he can't really get to it. Somehow he's moved the chairs. He doesn't ever get into the cat's food because he follows me everywhere. He lays in front of the shower door when I take a shower. He follows me everywhere. So he doesn't like sneak down and eat the cat's food. He's doing it because I'm down here. So it's my own dumb fault. I need to remember to put it up when I come down. And I just was in a rush to come down here and jump on this live. So my own fault. It's really annoying though. So you guys, before I was outed by Aaron, I had been talking to Aaron for about 6 to 8 months. You guys know this. And um boy, that's distracting. I just want to go over and grab his little face and what a poo-poo head. I don't think he'll get pancreatitis from eating this cat food just because he's only done it twice now. I mean, if he did it daily, yeah, I could see that. Anyway, I keep going, squirrel, squirrel. Let me finish what I'm trying to say. Before Aaron outed me for 6 to 8 months, Aaron and I had been talking. And I, on my own, just started recording all the messages or all the conversations that I had with any and all Scientologists. Some of them were with Sea Org. Some of them were with friends, and some of them were with my mother-in-law, Brenda. And I recorded a lot of conversations. One of them was with my mother-in-law, Brenda. I came out and told her everything. I was like, I remember her even saying, "Do you not believe in the reactive mind?" And I was like, "No, I don't believe in the reactive mind." And I was like, "I don't believe in Scientology." I said, I might have even said, I think it's a cult, but I said, it's total mind control. I said, you're not allowed to think for yourself. I said all of these things. I even said, I'm probably going to get declared and you and I will have to disconnect. I'll let you guys listen to it. And she said, why would you get declared for what? And I said, for what I'm telling you, for what I'm saying. The things I'm saying will get me declared. It's a high crime. And she even said, well, you're not going to get declared because you're just telling me. Yeah. So the fact that like she disconnected and didn't say goodbye and it's like this big shock of what I did with Aaron is total bullshit because I told her everything way before I came out on video with Aaron when I was outed. So it's just kind of interesting, kind of fascinating to me that you are kind of acting like you didn't know I felt this way. You knew I felt this way. I told you about it. But you can go ahead and pretend that you didn't, and that's okay. I've got the truth on a recording. So, whatever works. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know what Aaron has to do to get I sent them all to him because I don't know how to do all this and process it. But he said it's super easy and he's going to throw it up and then we'll play it and we'll pause and kind of talk about what we heard. Yeah, Keela, that is maybe why I guess they're scared of me. Anne Marie Reese, can I ask? See, while you were in it, did you truly believe other teachings? 100%. Yes, I truly did. Peggy, a kid has to go to the vet. I talked with a vet tech, Brandy, who comes into this chat. She thinks kid might have a UTI. She gave me some reasons why she thinks that, and I haven't taken her yet this week. I was going to see about taking her tomorrow or Thursday since I worked today. It's just a whole thing. Every time we go to the vet with any animal in this house, it's about $450. And this is why I want more animals. And one day, if I make the kind of money that some YouTube people make, I will get more animals. I don't have more animals because I know I can't afford it, and that's not fair to the animal. You have to be able to care for an animal when you have an animal, or you're neglecting it. I'm not going to do that. But one day, here we go, right? Like this. When I get super chats and I start making money on the ads, like probably Aaron does, I'm gonna get more animals. It's like a goal for me. Lou Me Dawa, thank you for that super chat. That's really kind of you. Um, oh, I'm sure, Carol. Question. Hey, you little shit eating cat food. What are you even showing your face for in here to everybody? We're all upset with you and we're shaming you on video. You lie. Carol, question. Will Brenda get in trouble when the recordings are out there, or because she didn't know it was being recorded, will she be okay? So, Missouri is a one person recording state. I checked with my attorney on that, which means there are some states where you have to let somebody know they're being recorded. Missouri is not. As long as one person, me, knew they were recording, and Brenda could have been recording me for all I know. I don't know. Will she get in trouble? I mean, Brenda's already gotten in a lot of trouble from what I can tell. It sounds like Brenda is no longer on staff. I'm sure she's been in. Guys, I was probably declared. I mean, I'm sure I was declared. She will be in huge ethics trouble. I'm sure they've already ripped her to shreds on what have you told her? What does she know? Because if you recall in the video I did with Aaron, I said he doxed me because I was telling him things that Brenda was telling me. So I guarantee you she was in a session in a room for countless hours against her will, going, what did you say? Question from Lou. Can you tell us some choice justifications you used in your confessional sessions? What does that mean? Do you mean like when you get off overts and withholds, they ask you how you justified it? Is that what you mean? Um, that's the only way I kind of read that question. If you want to maybe be a little more thorough with it, Lou, um, when you get off an overt, which is something that you did that was wrong, the auditor says who missed it, meaning who didn't, like you committed it around that person, but they didn't know. So let's say I go, Jeff missed it. And what did he did to make you wonder whether or not he knew would be the next question the auditor asks. And I would say, well, he gave me a funny look and he kind of looked in my direction. Good. What else did he do to make you wonder whether or not he knew? Um, I think he said something to me that made me think that. Okay, good. And then how did you justify it? If that's what you're asking me, I would say, I justified it by feeling like it wasn't that big of a deal. It's okay to do that. Good. How else did you justify it? And on and on and on and on. So they really, really pry with a fine tooth comb what you're doing. Brandy, there's Brandy, SBTV, LVT, pre-trees. Yes. If people only knew how many pets suffer and at times put to sleep due to financial stability, yeah, I'm not going to be that person. Cat Jack, I'm probably the last person to be doling out advice, but you ask how do you now overcome negative thought cycles? I'm currently stuck in one and would love advice. You and me both, my angel. I guess I'm going to give you an example. On Saturday, we did that live about Dan O'Connor. I really, as you all know, that kind of shook me. And that put me into a negative thought cycle. It put me right back into being a Scientologist, fearful. Um, I had terrible dreams that night. I was afraid. I slowly kind of tried to bring myself back to reality by saying in my own head, I was like, you're safe. You're okay. That's not going to happen to you. I'm trying to think of the things I was actually telling myself. Like, you need to breathe and calm down. Um, that's not reality anymore. That may have been reality where you were going to get in trouble, but it's not now. So I just try to bring myself into a place where I'm like, look at where you are now. That's where you were. So I just try to look ahead and go, you're a good person. As much as you're led to believe you're this out ethics individual that's evil, you're not. So I just try to tell myself things like that. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I still in my head go, no, you actually are a piece of shit and you're ugly. Some days I don't. Just depends. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. Joel, Reese, you glow since you got out. No, I just have too much highlighter on, but thank you. I am sure that you will become great in anything you want to do. The only person who can stop you is you. You are on your way. Joel, I love you. Thank you for saying that. I do think I just have too much blush and highlighter, and it's 144 degrees out. That's the glow. It's just too much. I overdid it. The lighting in my bathroom isn't the best. I thought I didn't put enough on, but down here with these lights on me, it's like, holy shit, you overdid it. Um, Oh my god, I thought this person was telling me to go do yard work and walk the dogs. I was like, "What? No. It's too hot." Sorry, Jen. Good luck to you on that. I hope it's not as hot where you are. Door handle says, "When you were out, did you experience vomiting due to stress?" That's currently what I'm experiencing. Jeff's going to the chiropractor. Probably a couple of times. I think we all process stress in different ways. Our bodies do. I think that I remember getting sick quite a bit when I first was doxxed. Um, and then I just was really tired and I didn't want to talk to anybody and I just wanted to sleep. Patty, why are you saying your bathroom is huge? That frightens me a little bit. Were you in there today? What's going on? Kathy, did Hux think of himself as a Scientologist? Was he taking courses? No. Huxley actually really pissed off. I got a report written on me. He pissed off his grandparents, Doug and Brenda, because a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago, they asked him to go to an event with him. And his response was, "No, thanks. I'm not a Scientologist." That kid is golden. No, he did not. He did not. That's an interesting question, Lou. Whoops, Sterling. Worry for nothing. Your own thoughts. Excellent journal. Help with cognitive rewiring. Yeah, I do want to actually do some journaling, and I was going to show you guys. I got a set of really cool journals from someone. Lou, question: did you ever flirt with your auditor or supervisor to get out of doing something? What was it? What happened? No, I did not. The only auditor I had that was a male, well, I had two. Neither one of them. No, one of them was my close friend Kathy's husband. So no, I don't flirt with people's husbands. Um, and then the supervisor was always my mother-in-law, Brenda. So no, no, I didn't do that. I wasn't as flirty as I am with my own husband. That's as far as it goes. I mean, I joke about flirting with the guy around the avocados at Costco. Don't get me wrong. I'll totally say hi to old men and smile or wink. But I would never cross that line. I would never, ever, ever do that. But no, I didn't flirt with my auditors. Kathy's husband, my auditor, as I told you, like farted all the time in session and he would burp all the time. And he was one of those big guys and he ate because you don't ever have time to eat when you're on staff. So he would eat like gobble down a bag of Doritos and like 3 beef sticks or something before session. And it was so gross. That's one of the reasons I don't like flying and I don't like going to movie theaters because somebody fucking burps around you and they're like, not only do they burp, but they're like, it's like I feel like they blow it into my eye sockets. I'm like, really? I get so angry on airplanes if I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden, like, the deep smell of someone's guts comes into my wafting into my nose. It really pisses me off. I'm like, did you have to eat fucking Doritos and beef jerky before you got on this plane? Kathy Ann, you and Aaron were talking about divorce and how Scientology can't take one another to the cleaners, so to speak. Are those the same rules for child custody cases? No nasty custody battles? I think so, but I don't really know about custody, honestly. I don't know how that works. Like Michael and I didn't have a custody battle with Huxley, so I just don't know. I'm just catching up reading comments. Yeah, who's gonna fart with their auditor when the guys or fart with their flirt when they're farting? Flirt, fart. Who's gonna flirt with their auditor when the dude's like letting off bombs from the Taco Bell he just ate in 36 seconds because he doesn't ever get a lunch break? No. Sorry, that doesn't turn me on. You guys know I like a gentleman. I'm not flirting with people who stink and are obnoxious and gross. I always thought that guy was obnoxious and gross. I was like, mm-mm, not attracted to this. Flirt. Fizzy giggle. Where did this come from? What? I hate toes that clutch on over the fronts of shoes. What? You mean like basically shoes that are too small for somebody's foot? That's what that sounds like to me. I don't spend a lot of time looking at toes. They can be kind of gross. Eureka, do Scientologists not get all nasty after a divorce? Oh, I got to do something on my YouTube channel real quick, guys. I'm still with you. I just need to click on a button and I can't see on the camera right now. Got it. Let me get back. Let me get back to where I can see. There we go. What did I say? Oh, what was it? Do Scientologists not get all nasty after a divorce? Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by, I mean, they don't like each other typically after a divorce. From what I can tell. Yeah, they can get ugly just like anybody else. Toward each other, I mean. Like they don't stay friends. Electric Bugaloo, where did you get the chair? I love it. That chair behind me, I love it so much. I got that at Anthropologie I only buy furniture from Anthropologie during Black Friday because they do 25% off and they charge $150 to deliver furniture, which sucks. But I love Anthropologie clothing and furniture. I'm a sucker for it. I think that's called their petite chair or something. And I think I'm going to get another one this Black Friday. They make them in a ton of different embroidery and patterns. I think I want a set. I'd like a couple, just a different pattern though. Door handle question. Did you do anything special to get yourself to FN? Floating needle, guys, is what that means on the meter, which is a good thing. When I was going through sec checking, I would constantly do yogic breathing exercises to get my needle to float. I tried that. I would like take nice, deep, relaxing breaths. Honestly, I mean, we all tried it, I'm sure. Even Scientologists that are current, I'm sure would not admit to it. But yeah, yeah, definitely. I remember always thinking happy thoughts. I remember like I would even be holding the cans, trying to get it to float, and I would be like, like I'd look at my auditor all smiley, like I feel so much better. And yeah, it typically didn't work for me. They'd be like, okay, well, what else did you do wrong? And I was like, no. Oh, Jenna from Cali. Stephen Hassan book called Combating Cult Mind Control helps you go to the moment when you learn stuff and check yourself, retrain your brain. Yeah. I want to get that book. I actually need to order that book. Yeah, Rob, you're probably right. They were nasty before the divorce. Lots of divorces, fun and funky. Yeah. Lots of divorces in Scientology. Jess, you don't like it when someone's feet look like talons that could swoop down and catch their meals out of the rivers? Yeah, no, I don't think any of us do. Raise your hand if you would like someone to have feet like that. Absolutely not. John, welcome. I'm glad you just got home. You are hilarious. John sent me a hat, but I'm not going to debut it until Aaron and I do. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Lou, I don't you have interesting questions today. Did you like doing mood drills on the Pro TR's course or PTSSP course? Do you think Danny Masterson has done enough mood drilling to fake looking regretful? Did I like doing mood drills? I didn't really like doing any of it, to be honest, but I don't think that that's what Danny Masterson, I mean, maybe he's done enough to fake it, but I can tell you that Scientologists in general are kind of beat out of showing emotion. Like we did a lot of drilling to show no emotion, to have your TRs in, your training routine. Yeah, I mean, mood drills, TRs, any kind of coaching they can do to keep you from reacting to things. Yeah, I'm sure Danny Masterson has done a lot of that. We all have. I mean, if you're in Scientology, you've done a lot of that. You don't really get out of that. I'm just reading. Peggy, actually, this one is not labradorite. I have a labradorite ring, but this one is like some kind of a rock. And I don't know who is Goldie in here. I'm sure you guys are all in here, all my moderators. There is a store in Kansas City, but she does have an online store, and you can find this on probably her store right now. I just went in on Sunday. It's called Donna's Dress Shop, and she sells, it's a huge, beautiful store. She sells vintage and new, and she has the most fun stuff. I buy all my belts there. It's really cool, but just donnasdressshop.com, I think, is the website. You should check it out. These are not expensive. They're made by a couple in Nepal, and I've probably bought 10 of them, different ones. Thank you, Lou, for that super chat, super sticker. They're like $60. They're ridiculous. It's not expensive. Let's see about this question. Moni69 question. Reese, why do a lot of women in society continue? Is it society or Scientology? You mean Scientology? Continue with their maiden names, not married names? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's an agate. This is an agate. It's a blue agate. I can tell you I did that. I kept my maiden name when I married Michael, but that's because his last name is hard to pronounce. It's Argus and it's spelled weird. And people would always say like Argus, Arhace. And I was like, I don't want to go through life with people constantly being like, how do you say your name? So I don't really know the answer to that though. I don't recall anything about L. Ron Hubbard or anything saying something about that. Whoever asked me about that ring, Lori, my moderator, my wonderful Lori, she just posted the website. Thank you, Lori, for doing that. Okay, so I showed you guys my really cute baby Xenu. Isn't he so cute? Lisa's probably like, what the hell, girl? I jumped on here for you and you're not doing it. I didn't forget about you, Lisa. So I received this in the mail today, and it says, Reese, please open package on a live. So I have not opened this. Yeah, John, that's the real deal, brother. Your last name is Cray. So I'm going to open this from Lisa. Also, you guys, while I'm opening this, my lovely friend Julie Cooper sent me this today, and I love it. We both love this company. It's called Rifle. Poor Lisa. She's like, can you just open my gift, please? You know that I go into the weeds. Julie's in here, and she and I are friends, and we message, and we talk about how much we love this company and shopping. And so just wanted to say that. So this is what it says. This is Lisa's handmade goods. A big thank you to Clara Meyer for designing the logo sheet. It says, Reese, this is a big SPTV surprise. You're the first person to receive a gift made from this custom SPTV fabric. Holy crap. I'm honored. I'm an upcycler. I take old clothing and turn it into something new with the help of a bit of new fabric. That is like one of my favorite things. That's so cool that you do that. The lining and wristlet are hand dyed. Bed sheeting, hand dyed by me. Wow. Sounds very talented. The jewelry, I love jewelry. The jewelry is also made by me. A neighbor bought a bunch of charms during the pandemic to make jewelry, but she decided against it and was going to throw them away. She offered them to me before trashing them. So I made jewelry and stitch markers out of them. They're fun. Anyway, hope you enjoy, Lisa. Is that the sweetest? That was so nice. Thank you, Lisa. You guys, this means so much to me. We don't get gifts in Scientology, and I never get gifts from people, and this is so meaningful. Oh my God. Okay, this looks super. Oh my God. You guys, this is so cool. How did you do this? What the hell? They're like, show us. It's a wristlet. It's like a clutch. And it has a little thing here. Look at the back. Reese, you could be TV show seller of goods on TV. I love fashion, so I always wanted to be like on the QVC network or something, being like, if you don't buy this, you're going to lose money on it. People would buy it. I do that all the time in the store I work at, and people buy shit all the time. Oh my God, there's stuff inside. I forgot about the charms already. I was so enamored by the wristlet. Are these, what is this? These are pins. What happened to the other earring? Did it fall out? We're missing an earring. Oh, it fell out. This is so cool. So these are pins that it looks like she made out of the charms, like a pin to put on a jacket, which I will do. I always put pins on my jacket. That's really cool. These are alien earrings. Were these the charms? How funny. That is so cute. Oh, so this is her business. Oh, plant me. That's cool. This is like a little thing of seeds. As a thank you for your purchase and support, use this code on your next order. That's cool. So this is Lisa's shop. It's dragonfishhandmadegoods.com. Lisa Marchbanks. Lisa, this is so cool. You guys are such artists. Thank you for this. This is awesome. I am totally going to carry this. Look at the inside lining. Like she said, it's hand dyed by her. It's like tie dye. This is so cool. This makes me feel so special. Thank you. No, Goldie, I think Lisa's here. She should be on. She said she was going to hop on. I told her before. I said I wasn't even going to do a live today, but I said I'm going to hop on because I got a package from you and you want me to open it live. Yeah, Jilbo Baggins, the earrings are awesome. I kind of missed some comments. Okay. I hope she's in here. She's in here. She has. I saw her in here. Unless she just got mad at me for not doing it right away and had to sign off. I don't think Lisa would do that. There she is. I'm here. There she is, guys. That's Lisa. Yeah, I think I will add that book to my Amazon wish list. That's a great idea. Is that what it's called? Combating Cult Mind Control? Lisa, thank you so much. This really means the world to me, and I will totally carry this. Stephen Hassan, I will add this. Aren't there any other books I need that I should probably add to my wish list? I mean, I could just obviously order them myself too, but I'm going to add it. I just added that book to my wish list, guys, because I do want to read it. I think it would be helpful. Aaron really recommends it too. Yeah, the pins are really cool too. Lisa, you guys, it's like amber. It's like amber. I keep these right here. Amber's glass. She's in here. She made these for me. Her website. Ooh, crap. I almost lost her business card. It almost flew behind my desk. Is ambersglass.com. And she made ice cubes for me because that's where I came from. You know this. An icicle, which is so cool. You guys are such artists. And another icicle that's like opaly. It's amazing. I love stuff like this. So anything that you guys make, I just love it and I cherish it. And you're sending it. I promise you. You guys are sending this stuff to the right person. I am not a person who goes, oh, great, thanks, and like puts it on a shelf and never uses it again. Handmade things and just gifts from the heart means so much to me. And I just also want to acknowledge and say thank you to everyone who's sending me stuff from my wish list. Some people I did not get a name with it. I was going to show these. I'm pretty positive that this one didn't have a name, but let me double check. I don't think it did. And some of you I privately messaged. Lisa, what is this? Claire and Amy are creating a list of books. Oh, I think I heard this. Also, no thanks. I'm not a Scientologist needs to be a t-shirt in your merch shop. That should be a t-shirt. That would be hilarious. Oh my god. Um I took this picture of Huxley the other day and he never looks like this. I caught him laughing. So he doesn't even hardly show his teeth and I don't know why. I think he looks so much like me here and I just never see his face like this and he looks so cute. That's him in his scout shirt the other night. Anyway, that had nothing to do with anything. I just was scrolling past it. I don't think I have a name to put with this, so I'm just going to say thank you for it here. And if you're in here, thank you. I put this on my Amazon wish list. And it's so cool because it's 5. So I've always kind of wanted to get into journaling. I want to write my book, but I haven't done it. I'm just pulling out the number 2 because it was the easiest to grab. This is 5 years worth of journaling. So it's 1 year at a time. And it says goals and lists. And it says like places traveled, goal completed, yes or no, what, when, how, day 39, day 38. So you just go through and you just journal or write something. And I'm so grateful to whoever got this for me because it's not something I would buy for myself. I just wouldn't. I get weird about spending money on myself. It's so weird. I'll go buy a piece of jewelry, but like I won't buy something practical like this. Don't judge too harshly, guys. I just got out of an ice cube not that long ago. But this is such a cool gift, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. And then, one other thing, if you guys don't mind me sharing one other thing I got in the mail today. This is from, I have her business card. This was really nice. I don't know. Oh, I messaged her, I'm pretty sure. From a lady named Annette. And she has a company called lovepure.com. It's LUV. And she sent me these with a little note. I hope you guys don't mind that I'm doing this. I'm not reading comments and it kind of gives me anxiety, like in case someone's like has a question. It says, please read the directions on the card. But anyway, it says, hi, I wrote you a long email that's sitting in my drafts, but while going through your videos trying to find it again, I caught your PMS problems. I happened to make something topical for that. I originally formulated it for my best friend. I hope it works as well for you as it did for her. I love stuff like this. So it looks like she made something for me, and I think it's like a magnesium oil. And I haven't even taken this out of the bag yet, but I think this is also an oil, like a roll-on. And she made that for me. And again, I'm just touched. I'm just like, I can't believe people care this much. If you guys only could understand, this is my experience. I don't want to speak for all Scientologists here, but my experience is Scientologists we don't gift, and we also don't believe that the outside world, I was raised to believe the outside world was very dangerous and don't trust anyone that's not a Scientologist. So here I am in the last 6 months getting out of Scientology for the first time in my life. I'm 39 years old and I'm meeting, can you imagine? This is why I'm like, I haven't been sleeping. I can't even go to sleep because I just am overwhelmed with the outpouring of support, love, gifts, just people saying, you're going to make it. You're going to be okay. We love you. We care about you. We got your back. You guys, sometimes I just start crying like randomly at the store, picking out my organic SpaghettiOs because I just get overwhelmed at the thought of adding all that Parmesan cheese to my SpaghettiOs, but also all the gifts and love that I get. It's a weird dynamic. It's a weird combo. But I also tend to get that way when I'm picking out salsas because there's so many that I like, I get overwhelmed. But at the same time, at the front of my mind, I'm thinking of you all. It's a weird place to be, and it's hard to describe. So thank you for all these gifts. Thank you for all the super chats, um, and the love. And I just think you guys are, I've never received this kind of love, appreciation, support, outreach from Scientologists. Never. Um, Not ever. So it just goes to show you who the real MVPs are, and that's you guys. I just think you're amazing. Scientologists don't treat you this way. They don't give you gifts. They don't check on you when you're sick. Actually, you get in trouble and you have to come in for a session to pull your withholds and why you pulled that in. And all you guys do is check on me all the time. And it's overwhelming. I get so overwhelmed with it. Jenna from Cali, question. I made you a wing necklace. Oh, blue morpho raised to be freed. Some die. They sell wings to artists so money can go to raise more flutterbees. We love you. Oh my God. That sounds amazing, Jenna from Cali. Thank you. Thank you. I can't wait to get it. Yeah, it can be awkward. I understand. It says, I'm really awkward. OTCTY. I'm really awkward about sending love and praise and bet there are plenty of others like me too, but we are here and rooting for you. I understand. It can be awkward in different situations. Um, I get that, but thank you for telling me that you're here and rooting for me. And you guys, I really mean it. Thank you. And Lisa, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is so amazing to get something that you poured your heart and soul into. And I can tell how much time you spent on it and work you put into it. So thank you. It's incredible. Thank you, Debbie Cox. She says, Reese, love spending time with you. You are such a blessing. Keep up the great work. Good. I'm glad that you guys feel that way because sometimes I feel like I'm just rambling on and wasting your time. So I'm glad that you feel that way. It's reassuring. Sterling, Reese, you are so beautiful. Even though you believe it yet, I don't believe it yet. Yeah, kind and a pure soul. Well, thank you, Sterling. I have a hard time. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm trying to like myself and be nice to myself and give myself some grace and the benefit of the doubt on some things. But I also just feel so dumb and naive, like I should be so much further at this age in life. And I get embarrassed about like where I'm at. Why are people put a one in the chat if you love Lori? Well, of course we love Lori. I love Lori. Jilbo Baggins, I love being in this room with everyone. I do too. It's such a nice, calming, safe place. Yeah, Sterling, it's hard for you to take compliments. Oh, for sure. You guys know that about me. I have a very hard time accepting compliments. Um, so there's that. Okay, I want to tell you something else. Um, do you guys all know who Serge is? Serge Delmar. I say that probably, and I'm sure you're all like, yeah, we know who he is. I'm new, and I just kind of recently met. Well, I just met him a couple weeks ago on a Monday Night Live, and I really like him. He's part of the SPTV network, and so I was reading. I really like Serge. And I called him today on my drive home. We were arranged to talk on the phone. And I said, hey, I got off work early. Can I call you? So I talked to him for almost an hour. And guys, I really, really like him. And he's really almost like he was in my head. Like he's so down to earth and he just could like understand me really well. He was like, I totally get what you've been through. I went through it too. That's how I know. He's so sensitive and just like wonderful to talk to. I always find myself loving to talk to gay men throughout my life. I just feel like they're can be very understanding and gentle. I mean, that's not all gay men, of course. And that's, also straight men can be that way too. But he's very passionate and I just really liked him. And um he said something. He said that his husband has I think what I want to say has been an AA counselor or like in AA helping people for like the last almost 20 years. And um he's he's been very helpful to Serge for that reason. Like he's been very helped him to process things. And Serge said to me, he said, what we went through and what Scientologists go through is it is an addiction. It's an addiction. And I said, yeah, I could see that. And he said something that I really appreciated and I wanted to share it with you guys. He said, I said something on the live the other day. I'm sure you guys were there with me about the Dan O'Connor thing. And I said to Aaron on that live, I said, I still can't believe that Dan lied. You know, he totally denied in that email. He called me that woman, which was just so weird because Dan and I were so close. But that wasn't the hurtful part. The hurtful part more to me was that he totally lied. He totally denied um, the day that he hit me with the fax machine and choked me and got on top of me. Like he totally lied. And I told Serge today, I said, Serge, I know this sounds crazy, but I can't believe he lied. He's OT8. I was like, they're supposed to be ethical. And I still believe that. And he was like, babe, he was like, you are still so fresh and new getting out. He was like, Aaron, me, all the other people have been out for a while. And he said, it's just still so new for you. But he was like, yes, he definitely lied and they're going to lie. And I said, I know, but I just still think that Scientologists don't lie. I didn't lie. I mean, I'm telling the truth with my story. And I like what he said too. I've never heard it put this way. He said, you have all the receipts. And I was like, he's like, you have all the receipts to prove it, basically. Like, you're lucky that not only did Dan lie, but you've got the proof that you are telling the truth. And the other thing he said that I really, really liked that I'm dragging this out. He said something basically like, you're so new coming out of this that your mind will protect you from letting it all hit you at once. It's a lot of evil basically, and your mind will only take so much. So like you being shocked that he lied is a defense, it's a coping mechanism for your mind to only accept little by little, like kind of peeling off the layers. And I loved that because he said your mind will only allow so much for you to accept at a time. Otherwise, you'll break. Like it's too much. He said it's so much abuse and so much evil. I'm going to star a couple of these because I feel like I'm just rambling and not talking to you guys. That I don't know why. Sometimes somebody will say something to me um that I'm like, God, that's so simple, but so profound. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? It's just a different perspective. And I'm like, wow, yeah. Especially since I'm coming out of the church. All kinds of shit I hear. I'm like, wow. And everybody else is like, wow, where have you been? Under a rock? Of course, that's not shocking. But to me, it is because I'm like, wow, I know that's simple, but I never thought of that before. It's just, I feel like I'm opening my eyes every day more and more. Um, but it just helped me a lot um, to give myself a little bit more. And the other thing is, he did say, he goes, you're shocked because you felt protected by Dan. You're shocked because he goes, even up till recently, you thought of Dan as a friend. And guys, that's true too. When I got declared just a few months ago, and all those people on my Facebook blocked me, I went and messaged a bunch of them to say goodbye. Never heard anything back. One of them responded, that's it. Out of probably 100 messages, I went to say goodbye and I wrote one to Dan. And I said something like, "Hey Dan, I know that you can't answer me and I know I got declared, but I said thank you for always being my friend and I'm sorry it had to happen this way, and I said like I wish you the best of luck," or something like that. Guys, this was just a couple months ago I sent that to him. And I kick myself for that, and I've been really mad at myself for that, and I'm like, "Why would I send that?" And Serge was like, "Because Dan's a fucking predator, babe." He was like, "But you didn't look at him that way even after what he did to you because you were under the umbrella of Scientology, and you are supposed to worship Dan because he's so highly trained." And, um, they had it backwards, like, they were mind screwing you on what to think. And now that I'm out, I see that more and more, but I don't know. I think what the point is, I have a lot more to work through than I realized, and you guys help me with it every day. I saw somebody comment and they were like, "You need to slow down. You need to stop doing so many lives. You're doing too much." It's not that that person's wrong, but this is like therapy for me. This helps me so much. You guys help me so much. Think I wouldn't be where I am right now, like processing everything I am if you guys weren't helping me. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But Serge put it into the most beautiful terms. He really did. And it was so helpful. And I'm going to star some of these. Maybe trained in manipulation. Yeah, Stephen, you're totally right. But I didn't see that when I was in Scientology. Yeah, Dominica, you're right. What you just said and what Serge told you applies to every abuse survivor. I'm sure. I'm sure that's true. God, Jenna, I'm so sorry. I was 15, he was a 30-year-old counselor, and they made it my fault. I mean, you're right, it's probably across the boards this way. Pete in Toronto, Reese, I think your pets need middle names too, much more effective when you need to mom shout at them. Thank you for the super chat, Pete. You're so right. Gertie doesn't need shouting at though, because she was born in a manger right next to Jesus, and she's never made a mistake in her life, and she's won every single award at every dog show. And she is all that is holy. So she doesn't get yelled at. Therefore, she doesn't need a middle name. Um, yeah, Michelle, do what you need to do to heal. As long as it's not destructive to yourself and others, go live as much as you want. You are actually helping us a lot. Yeah, that's how I feel. We're helping each other. This is flowing back and forth, and it's safe. I feel very safe here. Even with the shitty comments every once in a while, I'm like, who cares? Get lost. Fuck off. Yeah, I know. Harry Potter's beard. Of course you do. This is not an overnight fix. You've been in their mindset and now you're discovering you. I'm just one of those people that I'm like, hurry up, hurry it up. Let's hurry up and get there and get the end result. Rob, do what feels right and don't feel like you have to be on here every day. Just be on here when you want to. We will be here. I know. You're right, Rob. But like today, I wasn't going to do one. Peggy, you're so right. You're also grieving, Reese. Scientology and Dan were a huge part of my life. They were my life. That was my life. Um, I know, like, I wasn't gonna do a live today, but I wanted to. Once I got home, I was like, "I wanna go. I want to." Guys, I don't do one if I don't want to. Like, I don't force myself to do this. There have been many days where I don't do one, and then I get messages like, "Everything okay?" And I appreciate you guys checking in on me. But there are some days that I'm like, I just don't have it in me. I'm tired or whatever. Um Sterling says, regardless, that's a great way to cut the cord. Saying goodbye the way you did allows you to walk away a more healthy person. You took the high road and it just speaks to your character. Well, that's a nice way of putting that. Thank you. I said goodbye to all of them. None of them said goodbye to me. But yeah, yeah, I agree with that too, Pamela Ding Dong. No one watches a channel to post shit. You watch the videos of people you like. The shitty commenters are OSA trolls. I agree. Yeah, Cheryl. Did you mentally leave when Fred died and they made you do, I think you meant to say, and they made you do, when Fred died, they made me come in and do a session and a loss of a person assist. And after that, where I felt like they were trying to get me to forget about Fred. That was my husband, guys. He passed away. I did kind of mentally check out of Scientology at that point. Rob, you gave me money yesterday. Thank you. You are too nice for that cult. I'm amazed you stayed in as long as you did. Thank you, Rob. I was born into it. So, I mean, it was just my life. Um, Michelle, I was so sad. I wasn't going to see you today live because you said you were taking today off. I was supposed to work today and I did, but I said this when there was like 20 people in the chat. I went into work and they're doing construction outside of where I was working, and it was so hot that there was no people. And they were like, "Do you want to go home?" And I was like, "Bye, yes." And I called Jeff and I said, "Take me to lunch, Jeffrey." Pamela Ding Dong, curious, was your first husband much older than you also? He was 60 years older than me, Pam. Fred was 95 years old. Most people know that, but I kind of forget that new people follow me. I have like 1,000 followers a week. I love that. Um, yes, he was much, much, much older than me. And your jaw may be on the floor right now, and that's okay. But we were very crazy in love. And I didn't think about his age. Um, I just didn't. We were crazy about each other. Anna, Chris, Reese, how much money do you need a month? We will pay you a salary to keep your fuzzy weirdness with us. I do need to make money for sure, and I hope that I can. To give you a number, I don't know, but I do need to make money every month for sure. Um, Thank you for even asking that question. John, the vague one, thanks for saying this stuff out loud. Trauma survivors learn to thrive by sharing their epiphanies. Yeah, that's how I feel. I thrive on this. I feel so much better when I do a live because um, it just feels very therapeutic. Now, I hope I do make good money doing this. I know Aaron makes really good money, so it's got to be possible. I mean, I know Aaron is super likable. Obviously, he's great and he's got a ton of followers. And I hope to get there. I hope to get where he is and make that kind of money. Um Oh, okay, Pam. You've watched them all and you know about Fred. Eureka, how long were Fred and I married? 6 months and 3 days, sadly. We were together for several years, but we were not married that long. Um, Fred would have lived much longer, I believe. He was super healthy. There was nothing wrong with Fred, but um, I went to work one day and he had a fall and I didn't catch it on the camera. I had a camera in the house so I could watch to make sure something didn't happen to Fred, and of course I didn't see it. I came home one day from work and Fred was sitting on the couch like this with like paper towels. He fell. He went flying forward. He tripped over a rug and he went flying forward. I went back and watched this on the camera and I wish I hadn't. His head went straight into the wall and there was a little tiny dog cage there, and his head um I think missed the cage, but his arms didn't, and the side of his face, and he was, old people's skin, guys, is super. Deborah, before this goes away, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that so much. Um, he had torn his fucking skin up, and Fred was tough as nails. Okay. Like, no pain. He was just sitting there, like, sopping up the blood. And at this point, it had been hours since he had fallen. So I got home and, it was terrible. It was so traumatizing for me, but I worked in senior living and I called 911 all the time. We had the paramedics in there all the time from people falling. Um, and that's what really took Fred down. And that's why Fred would get mad at me because I wouldn't let him do anything. I mean, I let him, I had to. Did what he wanted, but I never wanted Fred to like go shovel, go sweep, lift heavy things. I was like, one fall, Fred, and you could be taken out. And that's ultimately what happened. He lived about 3 months after that fall, but it got worse and worse, and we got an MRI, and, he did something to, like, one of the discs or vertebrae in his back, and he was like, "Let's go to the Mayo Clinic. I wanna have surgery," and they were like, "You're too old, sir." I mean, Fred did not act his age. He was very, very young, and it was really hard because I think he knew it was coming if he couldn't get it fixed, and there was nothing that could be done. And I think that's what killed him. I mean, I don't know what killed Fred, to be honest. I know that he wasn't, so he went to rehab after that. Um after the fall, as I don't know if you guys know this, I'm sure most of you do, but once an older person falls, I took him to the hospital. He was in the hospital, in the VA hospital for like a week. Then they sent him to rehab, of course, and he was in rehab for 3 weeks. And he came home, and then I had at home rehab come. So I had like physical therapy, speech therapy. I feel like there was a third one. There was just like an RN. There was a nurse that would come and check every week after that. That was like a Medicare thing after rehab. And he, like the second week of therapy at home, the nurse called me while I was at work and she said, he's just not really progressing like we would like. And I said, okay. I mean, that's fine. I didn't expect anything to come of that. But she said, I think I brought the Kleenexes. She said, I think that you need to consider hospice. And I was like, I did not expect that. And I came home. That was a Wednesday. No, that was a Thursday. I came home. My dog died on Wednesday, the day before that. Unexpectedly, he died on my chest. And I called my boss at work and I said, my dog just died. And she said, well, I'm going to need you to come to work. So I dropped his body off at the vet's to get cremated and I drove to work. And Fred was really sad about the dog dying and went to work. And then Thursday, this nurse calls and says, I think you need to consider hospice. And I said, wow, okay. I'm familiar with hospice. I worked in senior living and I came home and I talked to Fred and that was my mom's birthday, was that day. And I sat down with Fred and I said, Fred, I got a call from the nurse and why are we talking about this? I can stop if you guys want me to stop. I didn't mean to go into this. I said, the nurse thinks that we need hospice. And he looked at me and I'll never forget this. He said, hospice? And I said, yeah. And he said, but that's the final chapter. And I said, yeah. And he said, I was going to go for you to 105. And I said, well, we'll just see how it goes, Fred. Hospice isn't a death sentence. And I said, I've seen a lot of senior people go on hospice and get better and get off of hospice. And it was my mom's birthday. And Fred was so dramatic. And he said, I want to call your parents and say goodbye. And I said, Fred, that's ridiculous. We just found this out today. I said, say goodbye. That's ridiculous. And so we FaceTimed all the time with my mom. Fred loved my mom. And he had this big loud, he sounded like that Louis Armstrong guy. He had like a really raspy voice. I think that was his name. And he would call my mom and he'd go, hey, mom, which is hilarious because my mom was in her 60s and Fred was in his 90s and he called her mom and it was so cute. My mom loved it. The nurse recommended hospice because he wasn't making any progress. He just wasn't progressing because of the back injury. And so he calls my mom and my dad, my stepdad, and he says, my mom to this day will say, I didn't realize what he was telling us. I didn't know he was saying goodbye. He sang my mom a huge happy birthday. He was a piano player and he loved singing too. So he sang my mom this huge happy birthday. And after that, he says to my mom and dad, he says, I want to thank you both so much for welcoming me into your family. And he said, but it looks like the time has come to an end for me. And he said, "I just wanna say thank you so much." And he said, "I will see you guys on the other side." And my dad at the time, I think he has a hard time talking about this stuff anyway, and he said to Fred, he said, "Well, you just keep playing piano, Fred, you hang in there." And Fred said, and I knew this meant something bad, because he would never say this usually. He said, "I can't play anymore, but Reese has a lot of videos that you can watch." And again, guys, going through my mind at the time, I was like, "You're so dramatic." Like, I told you hospice an hour ago and you're saying your goodbyes to people. Like, this is silly, Fred. People live for months, years. People get off hospice all the time. And my dog died yesterday. And I'm like, my dog of 12 years. And unexpectedly just died. So, um, that was it. He didn't say goodbye to anybody else. Doug came over to pick up Huxley that night to take him to dinner. And he said goodbye to Doug. He said, "It was really nice knowing you and thank you for welcoming me um, into your family." And he said, "I'll see you on the other side." Doug didn't understand. Nobody knew about the hospice thing. So, like, this was such a shock for him to say something like this. And um, the next day, I tried to call, and actually that evening, Thursday night, I called the hospice company. Again, I worked with hospice, and I said, "I think my husband needs to go on hospice. I was told by a nurse today." So this lady shows up hours later, this super rude nurse, which in hospice you have to have the heart for that. It's not a job for everybody. She shows up, and I don't know if she thinks I'm like some caregiver, like that I don't give a shit about this guy. She does an assessment, and he's yelling in pain from his back at this point. And I leave the room. I don't want to listen, and I just want her to do her assessment. And she comes out and she goes, "Okay." She goes, "Well, I thought this guy was dying tonight. They made it sound like he was just gonna die tonight." And I was like, "That's my husband that you're talking about." And she said, "He doesn't qualify for hospice." Yeah, this was shocking to me too. Someone said usually hospice nurses are the best. I agree. I was in senior living, guys. I worked with hospice all the time and palliative care. And she left. And Fred's more and more in pain. The pain is coming more from the back from when he fell. And I called a nurse friend of mine at the place I worked at and told her about it. And she was like, "You are fucking kidding me." So she calls the CEO of some local hospice company here and tells her what happened. And they send another hospice nurse from a different hospice company out. And the lady was so nice. She comes the next morning. Fred went to go pee. Let me back up a little bit. I don't know why I'm telling this story. It seems like too much for this afternoon, but I'll just finish it. The night before that, when he said goodbye to my parents, that was the last time Fred ever spoke. I don't know why to this day Fred didn't speak again. Um he he got off the phone with my parents. That was it. He looked at me and he said, again, I'm like, "This is silly. You're not dying today." He said, "Nobody will ever love you as much as I do." And then he said his last words. He never spoke again after he said this. And I think maybe he checked, like, something happened at this point. He said, "Tell Reese that she was the love of my life." That was it. He never talked again. And then the next morning, the nurse came from this hospice company, And she said, "I'm so sorry for the way that that other company treated you, and we will treat him with the most respect and care." And um, she ordered the bed to come out, and then ordered like the medicines, the medication that was going to keep him comfortable. But what was weird, guys, when I say it's weird that he never talked again, he was totally aware and awake. I talked to him all that day and he would nod or do this, but he never spoke. And I don't know if he had a stroke, but he was totally clear minded. So I don't know if he chose not to speak again. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know what happened physically to him, but mentally he was fine. He was there. He was awake all day. He was watching the nurses set up the bed. He was smiling. He didn't eat. But I'll never forget this because I laid with him all day. And I've told you guys this before. Fred and I had a bit of an inside joke, which you may think is dark, okay? But I have a little bit of a dark sense of humor anyway. Whenever Fred and I were together for years, whenever he would sneeze or cough or do something like that, I would go, "Are you dying?" And he'd go, "Hell no." And it was just funny between us. Now, would I do that probably in public? No, because no one would understand it, but it was just a silly joke. And I did it for years. He'd be like, and I was like, "Are you dying?" And he'd go, "Hell no." And Fred and I joked a lot. He made me laugh a lot. And that morning, they hadn't delivered the bed yet. I mean, it was just us. No one had come yet to set up hospice. And I was just laying there talking to him, but he wouldn't talk. He never talked again after he said, "Tell Reese she was the love of my life." And I said, "Fred, are you dying? Like, surely you're not dying." And he wouldn't answer me. And I said, "You don't have to talk, Fred, but I have to know." I said, "Are you leaving? Are you planning to die? I need to know if you're dying." And he said, and I'm so glad that I could be with him. I always wondered how much I loved Fred. I thought, God, am I going to wake up one morning and he's dead? Am I going to come home from work and he dies? How is Fred going to die? Because it's going to happen. And I used to cry and worry about it all the time. I never wanted to lose him. I hated our age difference because I knew that it was going to happen. And I thought, please don't leave. I just don't want you to leave. He changed my life so much. He saved me. And I just had to accept that when he nodded yes. And I did accept it. I didn't want to make him feel bad about it. I knew he was already sad that he had to leave, and I didn't want to make it worse. So I just accepted it. And I held him all day. And I kind of rubbed his head, and I was just really trying to feel him because I thought, oh, God, I thought most people die like I thought maybe I had a week. I thought I bet I'll have like a week with him. And I was trying to think how I'm going to afford to take off work and be with him because I didn't want to leave ever his side. I didn't want to sleep. I didn't want to do anything. And that was Friday. And they I want to say they didn't bring the bed until Saturday, which is weird, but I'm pretty sure it was Saturday that they officially got him on hospice. They showed up with the bed, and so he still hadn't spoke, but he was awake, and I was talking to him, but he just wouldn't answer me. And I didn't shower, I didn't do anything. I just stayed with him, and I held his hand. And Huxley was with Doug. I had Huxley go with Doug. I was like, I can't do anything to mother this child right now. I have to stay with Fred. My dog just died. Like, I have to process this. And Saturday. Oh my god, that's when they did deliver the bed, because Saturday morning, the vet's office called me, and they closed at noon on Saturday, and they said, "We have your dog's ashes." And I was like, "Oh, great timing. My husband just is about to go on hospice. This is just fucking glorious that this is all happening within a few days of each other." And so I went and picked up the ashes. The vet's office was literally 1 block from my house. It was 1 block away. So I went and got him because I didn't wanna leave Fred, but I was like, "I also want my dog. I want him back. Like, I want the box." I paid the extra money to have just his ashes done, and, you can have it where it's all ashes from all the animals or your one pet, and I wanted his ashes, and I was so sad that my dog had died, and I was trying to be strong for Fred, and I was just losing my mind. So I was gone for about 15 minutes, and I came back, and Fred was fine, and I got the ashes, and I was holding the ashes, and they brought the bed in the afternoon, and um, I called my nurse friend who worked at the place I worked at. And I said, "I don't think I can do this," because hospice, you have to do it yourself. You have to administer the drugs and all of that. And she said, "I'm coming over right now." That woman was so wonderful. Her name was Sherry. Yeah, my dog died 2 days before, unexpectedly. Sherry came over and she took care of Fred the whole day for me so that I could just be with him. And um that was wonderful. That was the greatest gift because I just stood at the head of where Fred's head was at the bed, and I just held his head, and I was just doing this all day long, and I was rubbing my head against his and my cheeks, and I was nuzzling him, and I was telling him how much I was going to miss him. Yes, Steve, I go to therapy every week. I don't I don't know that I've processed all of this yet. No, the hospice nurse, not here anyway, not in Kansas where I lived at the time, Amy, didn't administer the medication. It wasn't a nurse. It was a like a I can't think of what those are. Like nursing assistants come, you administer the drugs. So my nurse friend came and she took care of him all day. And again, guys, I thought I had at least like a week and I didn't. And the day went by and he started to kind of drift off. He started to sleep. And I think it's the drugs were kicking in and he wasn't making any more sounds. And um, my friend Sherry said around 8:55 p.m. that night on Saturday, she said his heart is winding down. And I was like, "You're fucking kidding me. I can't believe that this is happening today." I was like, he knew it. Fred knew it. Thursday night, he was like, "I want to make my calls and say my goodbyes." And I was like, "This is the most dramatic thing I've ever heard." And he knew it. Friday or Saturday morning, I said, "Are you dying?" And he said, "Yes." And Huxley, I had Doug bring Huxley to say goodbye to him. And this is how I knew that he was mentally still with it. On Saturday afternoon, he died Saturday night. Huxley came and he was just crying and sobbing. And he gave him a hug in the bed. Huxley did. And I have a picture of that, of Fred holding Huxley against his chest because he was sobbing. Huxley was. And Huxley said goodbye to Fred. And Fred was in the Navy. And he looked at Huxley and he did this. He saluted him. And it was the saddest, sweetest fucking moment of my life. I don't usually take anyone with me to the cemetery when I go. And I took Huxley with me, I think on Fred's birthday in February. And Huxley went with me to the cemetery and he looked at Fred's grave and he went like this to him. And I just lost it. I was like, "Huxley." And that's what they did to each other, though, the day he died. And it was so sweet. And Huxley remembers that. And so at about 8:55, she said his heart was winding down. And I just clung on to him and I just told him everything. I just said, "Thank you so much for everything you've done." I said, "I don't know what I'm gonna do without you, but thank you so much, Fred." I said, "You just changed everything for me. You saved me in every possible way, and it's such a gift." And he died exactly at 9 o'clock. And you know what's really fascinating about that? I picked because Fred played the piano for 90 years, you guys. I picked 3 songs at his funeral when I planned it, and I made his song by Billy Joel, "Piano Man," because the first words to that song, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, for those of you that know that song. And he was a piano man, and that's what his friends called him, Piano Man. And he died at 9 o'clock on Saturday. And I thought that was really wild and so fitting. So, um, that was really special. And if I couldn't, I couldn't, I couldn't make that up in a better way. Like I couldn't write a more of a love story than that. I would love to make a movie out of that. Like Fred's life is incredible, but the way he ended it, the way we ended it together with him was such a gift. I wouldn't change a thing. Was that hard for me to tell you guys? Is it still something I cry about? 100%. And I'm 39 and I'll probably do it till the end of my life and I'll never forget that story. But it was the most beautiful story. And it's like he gave me that. It's such a gift. And he said to me, "I'll always stay with you. Whether I'm here physically or not, I'll be with you." And so that's why I feel sad, but I don't. I feel Fred around me all the time. When something really good happens to me, like me being outed and this saving my life, I think Fred had everything to do with that. Jeff and I being together, Jeff taking good care of me, I think that has to do with Fred. I think Fred and Jeff were extremely very close friends. I think Fred trusted Jeff to take care of me. And I can't ask for a better gift. I don't use the word blessed, but I would use it here. I mean, I couldn't be more blessed to have had that experience. Now, I hate that my dog died 3 days before Fred died, and both I didn't expect to die. I mean, that was the worst week of my fucking life. I don't know how I got through that looking back. I didn't expect to have to go get my dog cremated and have to go plan a funeral for Fred. And it's just it was really nuts. I'm going to blow my nose again, sorry. So then Fred stayed home every day with my 2 dogs, the Chihuahua that died and Gertie. I had Gertie at the time. So then I start going to work again, and Gertie is crying all day long on the camera. And I asked my boss at the senior living place, I said, "I don't know what to do. I got to be able to bring my dog. She's not doing well." So they let me bring her. And from that day on, I brought Gertie to work every day, and all the old people held her. They would put her in their walkers and push her around, carried her everywhere. Gertie was so well taken care of after that. And so I take her to work with me now at the place I work, and they're like, "She's so well behaved." I'm like, "That's because she was so well taken care of and went to work with me all the time." Thank you, Stephen Britton. You truly believe that Fred is still with you and always will be. Heaven is real and all our souls end up there. I'm sure that's probably true, but I know one thing's for sure. I do believe in Fred, and I believe that he's totally with me. Totally. So I didn't expect to tell that story today. I don't know why I told that story today. I would like to talk more about Fred. There's a lot more to him, but that was the final chapter, as he called it. And it was really hard to go through that But, um, at the same time, guys, I just wouldn't change a thing. And you know something else that's quite a gift to me? I had a camera in the living room, um, and it wasn't you couldn't keep like, it would only record and save, like, 24 hours, and then it would restart over or whatever. I wasn't, like, paying a service for anything. I just kept an Amazon camera in case something were to happen and I needed to check on Fred. Well, I totally remembered before the 24 hours was up, um, the video I pulled up the video and I was able to save it of when Fred passed. I mean, that's a little bit morbid, but I found this video and she tells like his heart's winding down and I'm right by the camera and I said everything I wanted to say to him. Hello, cat food eater. And it was a beautiful video. It's like 5 minutes long as he's passing. And I just said everything I wanted to say, which was thank you so much for saving my life. Thank you for taking me out of all the sadness and loss and grief that I experienced. And I just was like, Fred, you've changed me in every way possible in a good way. And I don't know. I'm glad I have that video, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because I just got to go back through it and listen and experience it. And I really would have hated coming home one day and Fred being like on the floor dead, or that would have really traumatized me. I mean, I was always prepared for it. I was always prepared. Like, I knew how old he was. I knew it was real that he was going to go at some point. Um, but I just thought, I'm gonna really, really freak the fuck out if I come home one day and he's like bled out or something, or even just like had a heart attack. Like, I want to be able to, I think, say goodbye. I always think like, how do I want to die? Do I want to die rotting to death of cancer and be able to say my goodbyes, or do I want to die in an accident where it's like goodbye? I don't know, but I can tell you that it was the most beautiful way to send a person off. I got to say everything to him. His last words to me were the most amazing thing. And as you guys know, my tattoos I have on my arms, he always said, I'm rooting for you. He always said, I'm on your side. And we always, always held hands. We held hands in our sleep. So we were extremely close. And I don't know. It's the best possible way that Fred could have died. It was such an experience, I think, for both of us. And I think I took really good care of Fred in life physically. He took really good care of me in life mentally. And I think that's why he still is with me. I think he's grateful to all the care I put into him. And I think also just what the connection that we had is unbreakable. I just feel like he wouldn't leave me. Fred's not going anywhere. He just can't. We are not to be separated. I don't want to be separated from him. And I love that Jeff respects that and understands that. I've got pictures of Fred all over the house. I look at Fred all the time. I look to him still for things. I try to talk to him. And I love that that's okay with Jeff. Like, it doesn't bother him. He cries about Fred still. He'll tell me how much he misses Fred. Joni, thank you for the super chat. Miss Reese, just know I may have missed a lot. Just know I may have missed a lot. Just know we are here for you. Thank you, Joni. Love you, girl. I also got a really big super chat. Debbie Cox, thank you. God, you guys, I didn't even know you could give $50 till recently. That's a lot of money. Thank you. It says for your new computer. Thank you, Joni. Moni says, or Money69, did you ask Jeff for a date? And did Jeff ask you out? How did you get a silver fox? Well, Jeff's a little young for me, as the story I just told, but Jeff and I became really good friends, and I think he asked me out, but it wasn't in a datey way. I think he just wanted to take me to dinner, and he was very hesitant to, like, be flirty with me because of Fred. I think he was worried about his friendship with Fred, and he didn't wanna be disrespectful. Jeff is very much a gentleman. He's very polished, and I love that about him. And so it took a while to start dating and being okay with that for him. But Jeff, I think, initially asked me out. Steve, I liked this comment. You said you're still deprogramming or recalibrating to the real world. That is perfectly normal. Yeah, I would agree with that. You guys, thank you for the super chats too. That's incredible. I really appreciate it. Um, but Steve, I am in therapy. I go typically once a week. Oh, it's me, Terry. You are so lucky to have felt that kind of love. I'm 50 and still haven't experienced that yet. Oh, make no mistake. I absolutely know that I'm lucky to have had that. I think about Fred all day long. I think about him, talk to him. I know how lucky I am. And I know how lucky I am to have Jeff. IB360, Reese's email. It's just my name. Reese Quibell, Lori put it up. QUIB as in boy, ELL at gmail.com. I know. Jilbo Baggins says, I'm going to have a sinus headache tomorrow. I know. I always get a really bad headache when I cry. I'm all stuffy. Glenda Miller, hearing how much he loved you lets me know that he is so happy for you in your new life out of the cult. I think that's true. I think that's true. Yeah, your PCs are here too. Yes, you guys are all here for me, and I love that. I love the support. Oh, love it. Reese, hey, love, your box goes out tomorrow. Open carefully. Healing gifts coming your way. Thank you. Thank you so much for the gifts you guys have gotten me. Just personal things like Lisa made, um, like this cutie, but also the things you guys all got me on my Amazon wish list. I'm so grateful. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chats. I mean it, you guys. It really is huge to me. It means everything to me. So thank you. I don't want anyone to think that I have poor manners and didn't acknowledge you. Thank you for sending me all these gifts. Oh, that's sweet. Sarita Fisher, my late husband was the same. He was amazing. I'm white and he was black. And this was in the 70s. So my family was very pissed, but he was such a good man. And my mom and sister loved him. Oh, that's really sweet. No, Steve, um, I will never stop thinking about Fred and I never want to. And that's what kind of changed my mind about Scientology was going to get that assist when he died. And they were trying to get me to not think about him. And I thought, nothing could take me away from Fred. Tampa Bay man, Barb, there's no on and off switch with feelings. We would be lucky to have a dimmer switch. Thank you for that, babe. Thank you for the super chat. You always super chat me. Thank you for that. Steve, he would want you to be with Jeff and he would want what's best for you, and Scientology ain't it. That's so true. He always told me that. Fred always said, you know, I told you guys this one time, like how I'm going to always walk streets of gold or paths of gold or something like that. Um, but he would always say, like, kid, you're going to have it all someday. I mean, he always wanted the best for me and he always had high hopes for me. Jenna from Cali, it takes a while to get free all that has happened. You left a cult. That's true. Sterling, Reese, I'm proud of the strength you showed in sharing today. You're stronger than you know. Thank you. I mean, I don't know that I would call it strength, you guys. I love talking about Fred. That's not the happiest story about Fred, but in a way it is because it's so beautiful. Like the way he ended things, I believe that he did it on his terms. Um I don't think he would have changed a thing either. I mean, I know he would have wanted more time with me, but I think he also knew that um, he was still going to be around. There was just something I felt like he knew, and Fred was religious. He was a Baptist, and he was a big believer in God. And he would always say to me when he would talk about dying, when that day comes, he'd say, "Honey, call up newcomer's funeral home. You know what to do." And I would go, "No, no, no, I don't want to talk about this, Fred. I don't want to talk about you dying, please." And he would go, "Sweetheart, when God pulls my name out of the hat, it's just the way it is. You go home to God's house." He was very real about it. It was very matter of fact. He was not afraid of it, but he was also very confident and sure. Like when he said to my parents, he was like, "See you on the other side." It was like there was no mystery to him. It was just kind of like, "I'm going to go, but I'm still going to be right here. You just won't see me." And God, it was such a cool confidence that he had. I was like, "But wait." And then now since that happened, I'm totally unafraid of death. I don't fear death like I used to. I worked in senior living, so there were a lot of deaths around and I hated it and it would kill me. It would make me so sad. But the way Fred ended things and the way I feel him around, I think I'm not afraid. Now I don't want to die right now. I would like to make it longer, but I know that it's not final. He's still around. Paula Puffer, no wonder you say Gertie was born in a manger. Well, she was, for sure. Yeah, Joni. Fred started you on the road out of Scientology. He's your bedrock. He got to be there for it, and that's not granted in life or death. Yeah. Now, guys, no, Sterling, you're right. Why fear something that's inevitable? You're right. I think it's just a fear of how it happens, but Fred just put my mind at ease about it. I think it's because we got to spend those last moments together so much, and to be with a person and watch them leave and die is really a gift and special and hard, but I wouldn't change a thing. I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I got to say everything I wanted to say. I still think it's crazy that he died at 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and that's just crazy to me that that's the first part of Piano Man. And that was so touching at his funeral to play that. I was so happy to have that as one of the songs. Tampa Bay man. Fred has now touched almost 6,000 people that have subscribed to you. Isn't that lovely? I love how you put that. Thank you. God, girl, thank you for the super chat again. Um, this is a not so good story. Pamela Ding Dong says, "You keep in touch with Fred's son." I really don't. So Fred's son and him were not on speaking terms. And when I met Fred, I called his son and said, "Can we patch this stuff up?" So we drove to where the son lives. The son was married, and Fred and him were still real not wanting to talk. I got them to talk. A couple years went by, and Fred thanked me for that. And he said, "You mended fences that I thought would never be mended." His wife was not so, she really didn't seem to like Fred. She was pretty nasty toward Fred. These are very, very wealthy people, extremely wealthy people. Um, she just did not like Fred. Um, they never talked to him. They never called him, never sent cards. Within 24 hours of Fred's death, they filed his life insurance. They got his pension money. They cleaned house with Fred. And that tells you what kind of people they are. So no, I don't keep in touch with his son. Um, I just thought that was really ugly. And yes, I could have fought that as his wife, but I thought if you want to be that ugly and take his money, take his money. I mean, I didn't want Fred's money. So I got what I wanted. I always say that. I got what I wanted. I got Fred. And I have something you'll never have, Fred. So if you don't want to see the beauty in that and you just want to clean out his bank accounts, you have had that. You take that. That's fine. A lot of people um, thought I should have fought that. And I am not a money motivated individual. So That's okay. Reese, you like dragonflies or hummingbirds? Both, but I think I like hummingbirds. Sterling, Fred is now a part of our hearts too. Thank you for the gift. You're welcome. I'm glad you guys can love Fred like I do. I think it's the more the merrier on that. Lori plays. Was I his ben? So when we got married, I didn't do smart things. Like Fred had his own car. It was not in anyone's name except his. I didn't change the title. I didn't do any of that. Um, again, I just wasn't things and money were not why we got married or what I was even concerned about. I just wanted Fred. So, like, I couldn't do anything with his car when he died because it wasn't in my name. We never changed it. His beneficiary, so 2 weeks before Fred died, this is crazy, you guys. This is nuts. 2 weeks. Okay. He must have known he was dying somehow because I didn't know he was dying. We were driving back from the chiropractor's and he goes, I've got a life insurance policy that we should probably put in your name. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to do that. He has me call MetLife, I think is what the company was. They're out, no, Mutual of Omaha. I remember that because I'm from Omaha. And he has me call and I'm on the phone on speaker driving back from the chiropractor with him in the car. And I say, my husband has this policy. I don't know. He wants me to call about it. And they say, we're going to send you a beneficiary form in the mail and you have to fill it out and mail it back if you want her to be your beneficiary. And he goes, okay, great, mail it. They never mailed it. Fred died. And Serge, I'm so glad you're here. You have to go back. I talked all about you, how much I love you. Fred died. And my dad goes, you need to call that company because the wife of Fred's son already claimed the life insurance. And my dad goes, no, Fred wanted it and to you. He wanted to give that to you. He said that to you and you made a phone call. So I call the company and they're like, we'll have to look into this. We don't know anything about it. So the company calls me back and they found the recording because they record those calls. They found the recording and they said, we found it. We have the proof that she didn't send it. It was supposed to be sent 2 weeks ago. She didn't send it. And they said, there's nothing we can do about that. We're so sorry. We don't have the paperwork and it is our fault, but it goes to his son because of that. And I let it go. I just let the son have it. That's fine. But my dad and Jeff thought that was wrong of me and that I maybe should have fought it more because that's what Fred wanted. He wanted it to go to me and it was against what he wanted. And I said, I know, but I don't even know how to begin to fight that. I'm not going to get a lawyer over it. People get so weird when people die over money, and I'm not that person. And I thought these people are millionaires times over. You know, if that's what they get out of Fred, then that's what they get out of Fred. That's not what I got out of Fred. So that's fine. I think she's a horrible human being. I think it's pretty sick and speaks to your character. But I don't lose sleep over it, I mean, I don't have a lot of money and I would like to have more money, but I'm not going to make money off of that kind of a situation. I'd rather make money on YouTube the right way, exposing Scientology and making money off of ads and super chats, to be honest. That seems more like on the up and up to me. I don't want to make money off of a situation like that. And that's what felt right in my heart. I think Jeff would disagree because, again, Jeff's like, that's not what Fred wanted, though. Yeah, but I'm not going to fight some people over. They got his pension too. I didn't know how to deal with any of this stuff, so I called the company where he got his monthly pension benefits, and they were like, "Oh, his son-in-law and daughter, or his daughter-in-law and son already called and cleaned that out too." And I thought, okay. I mean, that just makes me kind of sick, and that's what kind of people they are. It just kind of shows you how heartless and money motivated. Yeah. So Evelyn Lee Barney says, I know it's snarky, but do these millionaires times over help with any of the final expenses? No. And I want to share that with you guys too, since we're talking about it. I go to the funeral home. Okay. And my mother flies to town to help me plan this funeral. We go to the funeral home. Fred had paid for some of it. Okay. But it wasn't all covered. Fred planned his funeral years and years ago, like old people do. And there was still like $1,500 I had to pay for. The funeral director sits down with me and he goes, "I have to bring something up to you." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "The daughter-in-law, Fred's daughter-in-law, is demanding your marriage certificate. She wants to make sure because she doesn't believe this, that you guys were married, and she wants to plan everything and she wants to be in charge." And I said, "She can go fuck herself. I have the certificate and I'm happy to show it to you, but I don't know this woman anything. I barely know her. She never called Fred. She never checked on Fred. I don't give a fuck about people like that." Um, so then she calls me personally and she tells me what she wants his obituary to say. And what she wanted was going to be like $1,500. It's very expensive to make an obituary. And I said, "I can't do that." And she said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because I can't afford it." And she said, "You need to be able to do this. This is what we want it to say." Didn't offer to pay, no financial help at all, no offering of that at all. And I said, "That's not happening. I don't have the money." I already had to pay when someone dies. I didn't know this, but you have to pay obviously to have them dig the hole for the casket. I had to pay for that. That was $900. So I was like, "I don't have the money." And you cleaned out his life insurance policy and you cleaned out his pension, which again makes you look not so good. But I'm not going to fight you on that. And they live in a big gated country club community, and she's a big, huge realtor in Springfield, and you know, that's people like that. It's like something's gonna happen to you. I mean, I don't know what, but I do believe in karma. You're an ugly fucking person. I never met anybody that didn't like Fred except his own family. His son and daughter-in-law really didn't care for Fred, didn't check on Fred, didn't really give a shit. I never met anybody except that. He had a million friends, Fred, and every single one of them I've met says, "Oh yeah, we love Fred Harley. How do you not love Fred Harley?" Everybody loved him. The fact that his son and daughter-in-law didn't, I don't think either one of us really give a shit about, Fred and I. Lisa, we're on the same page. Money is never first when it comes to love. Greed is so shallow. It's very shallow. I just don't give a shit. I am not going to fight over money. I'm just not. It's just never been my thing. And that's why I'm poor. I just want to point that out. My stepdad is a very wealthy man. And I say to him, "I'm not money motivated." And he goes, "Why not? You should be. You should be very money motivated." And he doesn't mean that in a greed kind of way. He's the most humble man. You would never know he had money, but he's worked hard his whole life. He's a cattle rancher and he works his ass off outside all day, every day at the age of 75. He's earned what he's made. And he's telling me, "You've got to have more work ethic than that." That's what he means by that. Like, you should be motivated to make money and take care of your family and have a legacy. He's right. I'm wrong in that I'm not money motivated, but I guess yes, I would like to make money, but I want to do it a different way. I don't want to make money off of a husband that passed away. Yeah. Fuck it all, 420. I'm so sorry you had to deal with this stupidity. Fred sounds like he was an amazing guy in your life, and karma will hit them hard. Yeah. Serge, I love you, Serge. I was talking all about you earlier in our conversation today and just how much you created a blanket of love over me today. You really, really, really understood me today. And I was telling everybody that. You really like touched me on a very personal level of like how I'm feeling. I felt like you climbed into my head today and you were on my speed. Like you were helping me to understand things at my speed. And it was really, really nice. Thank you for that. Yeah, Sterling. Karma Cafe, you don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. They'll get what they deserve. Um, Having a shit ton of money is not where it's at. I mean, I often think if I were to win the lottery or like have a ton of money, I wouldn't even really change anything. I love my home. I love my animals. I'm sure I would increase my amount of animals. I'd go to a damn shelter and probably get a bunch more because I could afford it. I would want a different car. I mean, my car is paid off and 9 years old. It's pretty basic. But it's paid off, and that's why I don't go get a different car. I think I would. That's Huxley always says, "You'd go get a new car." I would get a nice car. That's what I would like to have, a nice car. It would be cool maybe to have a swimming pool in the backyard, but I don't think it would change anything, and I don't like to travel. So you also wouldn't see me, like, suddenly flying all over the world. I'm a homebody, I'm a Cancer sign, I like to be at home. So, I have everything. I've never said that before I met Fred, but Fred filled me up with so much love that I'm like, "I have everything." And if I really, really want something, I buy it. I mean, I save my money if it's really expensive and I buy it. The only thing I can't afford is the car I want. I want like a Range Rover or something. I'd like something cool like that. I want like a big boxy car that Bo can fit in. That's like I my goal and dream, if I was super rich, I'd want one of those boxy Range or Land Rover. I don't even know which one it is, but I'd love to have like 4 dogs sticking their heads out of the back seat, the windows. Like, I'd like to have a cool car that has all the fancy bells and whistles, like the touch screen shit and all that. My car doesn't have any of that. And I would want a bunch of dogs hanging out of the back. That's it. That's the only thing I'd probably change. They do know they did Fred's wishes dirty. They know that that wasn't Fred's wishes. I made that clear to them. I said, "This isn't what Fred wanted." They didn't give a shit. They came to his funeral and they left. They left. They didn't say goodbye to me. I went up to the son. I was bawling through Fred's funeral. I mean, like, hysterical. I'm embarrassed to this day when I think about it. I was like screaming, crying during that funeral. And my stepdad was next to me, like rubbing my back, and I had my hands in my lap, just crying, sobbing. And I went up to Fred's son. I knew they were leaving, and I grabbed him by the shoulders and I said, "I loved your dad no matter what you guys think. I took care of your dad." And I said, "Your dad was the world to me. I loved that man, and I don't know what I'm going to do without him." And he turned around and left. They got in their car and left. They didn't say goodbye to me, nothing. It's their problem. Steve, Reese, you aren't poor. You're broke, maybe, but you aren't poor. Broke is temporary. Poverty is a state of mind. You're right, Steve. You're right. And I still think one day I will have a nice fancy car. Why not? I'm sure I can get there. Aaron makes good money. I'm sure I can get to that point too, but that's not what this is for. That's not what YouTube, why I'm doing this or what it's about, but it would be cool to make money doing it. And I do. You guys super chat me. Thank you, Serge. It's like a giant, somebody said it earlier. It's not a quartz, like a geode. I don't know. Thank you, Tintin. You are not poor. You have a golden heart. Well, thank you. Yeah, rewatch what I say about Surge. I love Surge. I really, really love Surge. Like, I just didn't realize what a friend he would be and how much I need him in my life. Everything he said to me today, I just absorbed. It's like you delivered it in my language. I don't know how else to say it, but like so many people are like casting it off and like you've got to let it go or you got to process this. It's going to take time to process. And it's like, yeah, 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 yeah. I hear you. Like I already know that. It doesn't really help me. I know what he said to me today actually helped me. It was like it sunk into my head and it made such a difference. Oh, Serge. Um, do you know I'm on a live? Serge?
Have me on your live.
You know I'm on a live.
How do I do it? How
Have
do
me on your
how do I do it?
Have me on your live.
How?
Send me your StreamYard.
How do I do it? How?
I don't
Send me your StreamYard.
Oh, I see. Okay. Maybe he can write in the chat. Let's see. How do I do this, you guys? How do I add him? And he wants to be on my live with me, but I don't know how to do it. Aaron always adds me, so I don't know how. Maybe he's going to write it on here. I'm catching up. Someone said I love Range Rovers. I just think they're cool looking. I like the way they look. It's not about that they're expensive cars. I like the colors of them. They're just unusual looking to me. I think they're neat. Serge said Hawaii is amazing. I've never been to Hawaii. I'm wearing a hat that says Hawaii. I just like the colors of the hat. And it's my favorite handbag designer that made the hat. Let's see. I'm scrolling. I'm trying to get to the bottom. Okay, I can send a link. How do I send it? I don't know your email or anything. First, let me say thank you to Cuddle Haggis. For months on end, my World War II Royal Navy dad couldn't figure out that he could possibly be 75 serving in D-Day. He passed 4 hours into his 75th birthday. That's so sweet. Yeah, I know that I can copy a link, but where do I send it, Serge? Just because I think you are amazing, basking in it. Thank you so much for that super chat. Serge, you keep saying Streamlabs. Maybe he's telling me I'm trying to get to the bottom. Oh, text it? I can't. I'm on my computer. Oh, you guys, let me see. Oh, Serge. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. Copy. All right, guys, I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'm trying to figure out how to do this with Serge. Compose. Okay, paste the link. All right, Serge, I'm sending you one right now. Serge. MC. L. Geez, dude, this email is MCGAL iCloud. Okay. I just sent it to you, Serge. I just sent it. Oh my God, I've already been on for 2 hours. I'm not going to be able to stay on much longer because I have to cook dinner and Huxley gets home in 30 minutes from football. Fred's daughter-in-law sounds like an evil witch. Yeah, I think she was pretty evil. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about her. I just think it's disgusting what people do. I saw that so much in senior living, you guys. When somebody would die, people came out of the fucking woodwork. Oh my God, it worked. Are you on? Can I hear you?
Well, hold on. Let me turn off the YouTube.
That's crazy. What a time to be alive. You guys, he was just not here and now he's here. Did you hear what I said though, Serge? I'm going to have to stop like
I didn't. I
Oh.
literally just saw that you had gone on live, and then I saw your cute hat and your cute ring, and I was like, "What is going on over there?"
So cute. I have to start cooking dinner in about 40 minutes because Huxley
Yeah.
gets home in 30 minutes, but I've got some time. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm glad to be catching this. This is fun.
This is fun. I've never invited someone on. People only invite me, so I didn't know how to do it.
Yay! I'm your first guest.
I figured it out.
Special guest, first guest.
I really cried a lot today, so my face is all red.
Well, we got you, babe. We understand. Like
Yes.
you got a lot of people that are on your side, and we're all on your side, and we're on everybody's side. We're on the side of truth. We're on the side of getting the facts exposed and, advocating for ourselves in the way we need to be advocating for ourselves and advocating for others because, it's okay to advocate for yourself. It's not a crime to advocate for yourself. And it's okay to look out to your best interest. Like I was catching all these heartbreaking things that you were sharing. And, it's like it's desperation that is driving us to come forward and have to expose ourselves this publicly again, because it's like it's unthinkable. It's unthinkable that in this year 2023 we're still exactly where we are right now, but
Isn't he amazing, you guys? I love the way you put things, Serge. Like it's so soothing. Maybe that's the word. It's like I just really absorb what you say. It doesn't like bounce off of me. Like I feel like you climb into my head when you talk.
I promise you I'm right over here.
I know, but you're very sensitive and I love that. Like I
No,
understand. You put it into words that I understand.
well, we some of us have been on this journey longer than others. I would say to that, Reese, you're just coming off of this. We've all been where you are right now. This is a whole process of reconciliating so much. And, and the faster we all reconciliate the truth and the facts, the sooner this madness ends, and it's really about that. It's not about having a fight or doing something crazy. It's just like we're sick of this vicious wheel of abuse that is so nonsensical, and everyone's getting hurt. No one's winning. No one's getting anything out of it. It's
Right.
everyone is getting hurt because, turns out these contracts we were made to sign were not in our best interest. And it's unthinkable and unconscionable that in this year 2023, we're still being gaslit and told that it's completely our fault and how stupid of us to have signed that as minors. Like, how stupid are you to have signed that
Yes.
contract and ended up a full-blown slave in either a hotel or a commercial building, right? Because you were in a commercial building, yours didn't have the hotel aspect to it.
Right.
So, and kid,
Making too much
yay,
noise.
we need
She's like
kid.
smacking at all the papers and making too much noise. It's
Oh my God.
distracting.
Kid just showed up.
Kid, stop. It's too much, girl. It's true. It's so true. And I still don't understand the fact that we had to sign that stuff as minors. None of that's obviously legal.
No. And I mean, I just had Catherine on my live. If you guys want to see that live, we went into the weeds of that contract and how many pages it was. It was just page after page after page. And they just told you, oh yeah, quickly, just sign there and there. Who cares? Like, we had no idea what in the hell we were being made to sign. Like, we had not a shred of a clue. Like,
That's
that
because
contract,
it also nothing was explained to us. We were
well,
just
and you know what? Isn't it interesting that they made such a big deal about don't have a misunderstood, but when it came to those contracts, you didn't have to understand anything.
Nope.
They didn't make us like,
Sign
oh,
here.
demonstrate how this and this is gonna apply to you. So you will really like, no, that, oh, you don't, just sign it quick,
Yeah.
get in
Initial
there.
here. Yeah, that's true. That's a fact.
So it's all just legal malpractice, what has been done to us, you guys. It's really the bottom line. And the fact that the legal people look into our eyes, straight in our face, and tell us everything that happened to you, you deserved it, and this is what America stands for. Well, you know what? We welcome the whole legal profession to come school us. Since none of us finished high school, maybe some of you can like take it upon yourselves to get off of your, elite universities where they teach you the law for, get certificates to do all manner of contracts that minors got to sign when we were,
Right.
including but not limited to, when did you sign yours?
Well, I mean, it's all started when I was 13.
13 and me 14. So,
Yeah.
or 15. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's all teens.
None of it applies. None of it applies. My lawyer said that. When you're a minor, you can't sign a legal contract. There's no legal
But we
binding.
were made to believe that we were
Right.
able to, because we were adults in small bodies, and our parents and everybody pretended that we were 100% capable of not understanding that contract. We had to understand L. Ron Hubbard ad nauseum. Like, show me an essay that you understand him. Show me a clay demo that you understand him. Show me with a doll. Show me that you understand L. Ron Hubbard. But the contracts that these attorneys wrote, nobody cared that we understood what in the hell they were making us sign. They just told us that the world wasn't going to end if that contract wasn't signed Thursday before 2:00, because it was very important for these people. Every week they made such a big deal that, oh my God, it's like the stats are going to end this Thursday. And it was the Hunger Games.
Yes.
From hell ad nauseum. Every week they're being exploited, dominated in unthinkable ways to go produce statistics, to do what to who. I mean, we've been getting into the weeds of what this confessionals are all about. It's interrogations, like data mining for felonies. It's like advising people legally when people don't have a shred of a certificate to be listening to the type of Class A felonies these people want to find out all about.
That's right. That's so true. That's so true.
And I mean, Reese, you were literally as a minor in the HCO division, you guys. This is the division where she was finding out all these reports are coming to you at what age?
13.
Literally, like, why would a 13-year-old be having to sort through paperwork? What was her religious experience? I mean, if anybody has the way to explain that to us, because we seem to be extremely confused. Now that we're adults, we could not be more confused. When we were kids, this all made sense. We believed every shred of BS that were selling us there.
Totally.
We couldn't analyze the pitch. Literally, like, it just went over our heads. Like, literally, like, even me, the so-called prodigy and elite guy that knew everything and could do L. Ron Hubbard like no one else, as disgusted and nauseated as that makes me feel today, that I was put in that position as a 12-year-old.
That's right.
Because apparently we haven't said it enough. Apparently in America, 12-year-olds being put in positions of being dominatrix over adults just flies. It's really just okay. It's just a religious experience, you guys. Don't go in that hotel because they're not recording it, right? They're not video recording it, right? They're not writing it down as it's all happening. I mean, we go over like, this is what it is. And it's like, we now need to be told why it was. Because like I said, you know, when we were there as kids, we bought the pitch fully, like guilty as charged. We believed it. We thought this, that, whatever. But now it's like, no, now shit doesn't add up. Now we got all manner of receipts that are not making sense, with now having access to lawyers, the law, Google, literally time to actually understand what the books that we were told were very BS, like literally, like,
That's right.
I mean, they told the law is BS, you guys. Like, that's just for stupid people that want to make trouble. Like, don't be one of those people that want to make trouble. All they want is money. It's like, who's all they want is money? I think y'all are all they want is. When we were there, Reese, every week, what did these people want more than anything?
The gross income, money.
So if they can tell us how that's a very religious thing, we would love to hear how they can pitch that to us now.
Yeah, that's a business. That's not a religion. That's a business.
Like, every week, if you didn't make your money, what was the penalty? I mean, the penalty, not just nothing, not just, oh, you guys failed this week. Like, the penalties, you're going to get interrogated for 3 hours. We're going to find out your crimes. And masturbation somehow was something that these people were really into. So maybe you masturbated, and that's why this week your statistics
That's why
went
it's down. And then not to mention that we didn't get any pay. So, I mean,
you're helping the world. You're such a volunteer. You're such a volunteer. Like Monique Yingling, start typing your email and tell us why we were volunteers. Because we didn't volunteer to nothing. We were not volunteering.
That's so
you
true.
took it upon yourself to lock up our passports and to lock up our personal identification things. Explain to us how that works again. Since we didn't go to high school and we don't know, but last time we Googled taking that stuff, and I mean, you even worked in the division where they would take, you know, anyone that was suspected to possibly be a security risk, is what they were calling it.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, I mean, these people are not naive and dumb. Like, they literally called you a security risk if you want to leave, and they don't have their fangs in you to crisis manage the F out of you.
That's right.
You know, so don't speak, don't say this, don't say that, sign all this stuff. Like, again, gaslight us, because again, they forced us to sign that shit on the way out and made us believe since we were kids, we were signing NDAs. What the fuck were we doing signing NDAs as kids?
Like you said, I mean, it's a corporation, and it's abusive.
It's a racketeering enterprise, and these attorneys need to start pitching to us how it works, because we know how it works. So start making it make sense, because we now worked in the outside world, Reese, and you know this doesn't fly anywhere.
No.
These people knew. These people knew this wouldn't fly anywhere. That's why they're so pressed to never no one come in that doesn't have the qualifications to see what we're doing. I mean, it's so pathetic. It's so pathetic that we've been gaslit ad nauseum. It's literally pathetic. And it's just like, we're so sick of like the BS pitch that we keep getting about how this is all just how America is, you guys. And it isn't, you know, but it'd be nice for people that still don't believe our allegations, the ones that have been on the public record for the last 50 years, Well, maybe you can, infiltrate. Go get up the bridge yourself.
Right.
Who wants to go up to OT7? Go experience it. See if there's no miners there checking on your stuff. Please, by all means, come and tell us if we're just couldn't be more clueless.
Right.
It's not like we didn't spend our whole childhood there watching, having a front row seat at all of this dysfunction, literally. Like, not by choice. Again, we didn't consent. At 13, you didn't consent, Reese. I didn't consent to nothing. And our parents being in on it and saying, oh yeah, this flies with me, because you know what? They really want to save the world. It's like, really, Mom? Really, Dad? Start writing me a letter and explain that to me now. Try
Yeah.
it. I dare you to make it make sense today. And if you didn't know back then you know what? How financially convenient was it for you to have a dumping ground? And tell us that you didn't financially benefit from not paying for our school, not paying for anything. Just literally like, oh, yep, they're going to save the world. Bye.
Yep. I mean, that's what I was told. You're saving the planet.
It's like literally when you hear the pitch, it's like it's literally so ridiculous, Reese. Like, I just love how you say it with a straight face, because it just makes me laugh, because it's just like when you were saying, it's like, yeah, and you come from ice, and it's like the level of I mean, it's like they were bringing us into their drug trip. Literally, like, this is a bad, disgusting drug trip you're on.
That's true.
Imagining these things and this is that, and Ron Hubbard said it and it must be true. And it's like, where's your critical thinking? Oh, I checked it at the door. They told me it was not good to have it in here.
But I just need to sign right here. And
just sign, and you know what? Your life is gonna be great. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, it's the year 2023. Maybe that flu back in the day that nobody knew, and la 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 la. And L. Ron Hubbard did have his way with everyone, including from David Miscavige's The Pyramid there on down.
Right.
Everyone has been scammed. Everyone. Like, there's no one has not been scammed by L. Ron Hubbard. Not one single person.
That's so
literally
true.
Like, it's like, if David Miscavige is really all about it, then he couldn't be more scammed himself, because his critical thinking skills were compromised when his own father trafficked him to L. Ron Hubbard. Don't forget, he was a teenager. Don't forget, he was literally driven across state lines from New York all the way to California, hand delivered to L. Ron Hubbard to be the person that did the cameras, right? So then, this problem is multi-generational. The curse continues. It just gets passed down to the next generation, the next generation, the next generation.
That's so true. I just think, like you said earlier, I guess need to realize I'm still newly out of it. Like I said, I can't believe Dan O'Connor lied. There's still things that I must still be holding on to.
Well, no, babe. I mean, it's like, look, we were trauma bonded with these people, and we thought everything had good faith when we were there. Like, it's like our brain couldn't process the level of betrayal. We were blind by all these things, and we were gullible and naive as like literally AF. Like, we believed it all, and everyone is gullible and naive, right? Because it's like, when you don't have critical thinking skills, you're gullible and naive. You can say that you're this and you can say that you're that, but it's like, if you don't have the capacity to think and analyze information and verify it, so you're not just relying on everyone's last pitch that they gave you, the level of manipulation of perception that these people are all about, oh, we're so powerful, we're so great, we're so influential, we're so helpful. Where's the help? Oh, look at the graph. What's behind the graph? Where's the numbers? What are you helping? What are you doing? Like, stop. Like, what is this? Like, why are you charging money for this? How come?
I never thought about that, though. It never crossed my mind to question anything when I was in. So I worry about.
You weren't allowed to, babe. You were punished. I mean, we were talking about that with Catherine yesterday. You were told that you had a misunderstood word, or that you were having a critical thought of L. Ron Hubbard and the technology, and you had a withhold. You want to ruin the world. You want to, and it's like, it was all a projection on us, like projecting on us that we're the problem anytime we wanted to question anything. So the only coping mechanism. Yeah, and our brains just had to acquiesce. Like, that was the only way to survive that dysfunction. We had to acquiesce. Like,
But
There
that
was
makes me
no
worry
other.
about the people who are still in. They're never going to leave. I only left because I was outed. I would have stayed under the radar and stayed in.
But I mean, but that's the beauty of synchronicity, because like you're here and you know, it's like it was your moment. And yes, it's not comfortable. Growth isn't comfortable. Like everyone's comfortable under the radar. Are you really that comfortable? Are you really that comfortable seeing us say all these things and you just go, you know, we're not BSing. We're bringing receipts. We're talking from experience. We were there. We had a front row seat at the MF dysfunction. Repeat, since age what? Right? So it's not like we didn't see it. It's not like we don't know what the hell we're talking about. The people that don't know what the hell they're talking about is the media. They have not an idea what the hell they're talking about because none of them have gone inside the hotel
I think that's
themselves.
why I was so angry with Dan's email when he said I was hallucinating and lying and none of that was true. The way you put it makes so much sense. That's a lie. I did have a front row seat. I was right there in it with you, Dan, and it makes me mad that he was like, she's hallucinating. I was there.
It's rich, but you know what, Dan? You know, nice to meet you. You know, I know you. I was literally your supervisor, as pathetic as that is.
And you've seen him be violent too, right?
Huh?
You've seen Dan be violent too.
I've seen you be violent. I mean, I know you, Dan O'Connor. I know exactly who in the hell you are. You were there with Kathy, with your mom, and the whole O'Connor family. How could you not? We all knew each other because we were stuck in those hotels together, because we had the same child trafficking experience. I mean, even Dan O'Connor is a product of child trafficking. His parents put him up to this. They're the one that normalized it. They're the ones that said, yes, do it. This is what it is. This is what it was, blah, blah, blah. He was, you know, his ego got inflated because aren't you such a prodigy? Well, you know exactly who in the hell I am, Dan O'Connor. So you know exactly why I'm calling you out and why I can call you out for so many more things that we haven't even gotten in the weeds of, because you know what? It's like we're already nauseous enough with what we've had to discuss. So you're lucky right now that we're not going to discuss anymore, but you're going to get called out for continuing to gaslight your way through this. You're not going to gaslight your way through nothing anymore. You know, you can trivialize Reese as much as you want. We've got the receipts. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what kind of gaslighting narrative you can throw around there, as pathetic as you make yourself sound.
That's so true. I don't want to overlook these guys. Serge, isn't Reese a comedy genius? Come on, Cuddle Haggis. She doesn't see her talent. I promise never send y'all a dictionary. Fred lined up the path for you, sweetheart. Thank you, Cuddle Haggis. That's silly. And then Serge needs to see the message from Jenna from Cali.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, actually, I posted her message today. You know, we're getting so much, you guys, that we cannot emphasize enough how incredible this journey is for us. And as far as being heard by y'all, like, look, this is all the stuff that we're discussing here is unthinkable. It's disgusting. It's triggering for community people to listen to it. Nobody can barely stomach it. Like, we can't either. But you know, holding space for these difficult discussions is the only thing that is ever going to move the needle, to use their own stupid term.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we have to wake up to what it is, and it has to be called out, and it has to be changed, and it has to be reformed, and people need to take accountability and, you know, not be cradled and canoodled. Like, so we this is growth that we're all having together because we're all standing up and saying, no.
That's right.
That's
Strength
it.
in numbers,
Like, we
for
don't need
sure.
your permission to say no. You didn't have our permission. We didn't have the ability to consent. So whoever attorney you consulted and said that would be a great idea to get all the minors to sign that, go check with that attorney again. Because y'all that were running those hotels have that legal exposure that is going to catch up to you sooner or later. Literally, you know, the Debbie Cooks of the world that were all about this, trafficking minors from Bring Me Dan O'Connor all the way to the FSO. Why was that guy not in school, Dan O'Connor? Why was Dan O'Connor not in school? Why was he at the hotel getting courses from me?
Right.
Literally, like, I literally was a child from Mexico that had not a clue. Like, just, oh yeah, be a supervisor, teach these people this. Like, I didn't want to be a supervisor. Like, literally, Reese, I even commented about this. My grandmother was a supervisor at Flag for like 9 years. And she
Oh, wow.
died of stage 4 cancer because they wouldn't send her to the doctor.
Oh
Literally,
my
like
God.
they were like, "Oh, we don't have a replacement. Stay there. Oh, it's just
I mean,
PTS
that's
tech.
pretty common.
PTSness. Check it out. Check it out." And then it's like that it became stage 4.
Yeah,
Like she had to have the breast removed, and like literally 2 months later, like all this water in her lungs, like literally killed her.
that's horrible.
And it's like Debbie Cook
Sadly, that's not
was the
uncommon.
captain at the time, and it's like, oh, oops, it sucks that she died. Oops, okay, bye. Like burn her ashes and throw her to the sea. That's literally what it was after she was like there enslaved for 11 years. Like
Yeah,
my grandma, like, she grew up with me, and I talked about like her presence in my life. At least she had like that maternal instinct that my mother had none of. At least I got it from my grandma's. But it was so disheartening to like witness how it all ended, and then it's like they were putting me to be now a supervisor like her, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. You couldn't refuse, you guys. Like you didn't have a choice. Like once you had signed that building your contract, you were their pawn. We'll put you wherever we want. You'll do whatever we say. Do it or reap the consequences. Oh my God, your ring, my ring.
I know. We have cool jewelry on
I
today.
like rings. I like rings.
Serge, read that because there's tons of people saying, Reese, get him to read that.
Hopefully he'll see it, Serge. I'm talking to the Centers for Missing and Exploited Children. I need more information on Marisol Nichols. Oh, that one.
And this.
Serge, Marisol Nichols is working with the Sitters for Missing and Exploited Children. I need your help. I need to talk to you. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. We're in the middle of figuring out some stuff about that, you guys. So
Do you give out your email? This person keeps says,
oh yeah, Serge Delmar at proton.me.
okay.
Yeah.
Trying to get the word to him if his email would email him, but does anybody have it? There you go, Jenna from Cali. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm just glad. I'm just glad that you experienced. I mean, I'm not glad that you experienced any of it, but that we can talk about it and that we share a lot of similarities.
Well, unfortunately, Reese, like we all have, it was basically the same thing for everybody. And that's what's so horrific too, right? Just like we all got our homes were broken into in the same exact ways.
Yeah.
They exposed our parents to the books. They gave them the false pitch. They gave them this false hope. They purported to be their friends and want to help them. It wasn't helping anybody. Literally, this doesn't help anybody, not even the people that are dishing out the abuse. Even they are pawns in this whole pyramid scheme of wasting everyone's time and being inappropriate. Like literally, like why are you asking those questions and then putting yourself in a position to advise people when you're using minors to do that? I mean, it's like, if that's not legal malpractice, please, we would love to hear from bar associations. Y'all's thing is a joke. Like the law is a literal joke. I swear to God. Like Scientology existing is literally why the law is literally like, I'm sorry. If it's really that easy, then why the hell do we need laws? Truly. Like it's an insult to our intelligence at this point. When we were kids, made sense, right? Like we took everything in good faith. Like, oh, okay, it must be this, it must be that, it must be that. Everybody really wants to help somebody. But we know how the drill goes and we know how everyone gets contaminated. It's a contamination and it's horrible. It's dehumanizing everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why we're against it. If we're not against people, if you want to be an adult and do that shit to yourself, like maybe, like we even talked about this, Reese, is like
We did.
child.
Do it. You want to be a
issue,
consenting
like,
adult? Do it.
21 and up, just put the stuff, like be very like, okay, you're going to become a slave. Like, are you okay with that? And then the people that want to do that, let them stay in the hotels.
Yeah.
Like,
Sign your
we're
life
not going to
away.
come and get you out. Like if you change your mind, then I'm sure that there can be a foundation there for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, in the meantime, just get real with what it is and start confronting what you do every day on a daily basis. And who is it really helping? Because, like none of them have critical thinking skills. And like, that's what's so abominable and sad and horrific, because it's like everyone is like just following the recipe, and having no scruples, right? Like I saw how all of this was done at the nuclei of the problem, which is the sessions. What goes on in those sessions, as much as everybody says that's the most stuff about the freedom, it's all about freedom of religion, is whatever happens in those sessions. And we're pushing back on that ridiculous false narrative.
That's right.
Not to us. Whatever happened to us, we didn't consent. If you thought we did, you couldn't be more wrong. You couldn't be more incorrect about it.
Because
so we're
children
setting the
can't.
record straight. And we don't need anyone's permission to tell us that we push back on what was done to us as kids. We had not a shred of an ability to consent. And no kid does, and there's still these centers open to audit kids. Go Google Mace Kingsley, you guys. Literally, like everything's in the public record. So that's why like the corporate media pretending that they can't figure it out. It's like they don't want to investigate a shred of a thing. They just want to make money on YouTube for quick interviews. Yeah, tell us how it was. Okay, good. Aren't you so lucky that we came and helped? It's like in the year 2023, what has changed for a shred of a child, Reese? Like what happened to you and me is being done to another kid as we MF speak.
100%.
And it's like, what? The activism is what? Like no child is out of a hotel right now. Not one. Not one. No
That's
parent
true.
has been told, really check these books. Really check what they're telling you to do. Really double check on that. Is there a possibility that you might not be thinking straight? Because that would be a good question for all of these people to ask themselves in a mirror right about now.
Right.
It's like, what are you not thinking about? Are you really sure that this is, they get so like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. It is exactly this. It's like, there's so much certainty. And it's like, are you really sure? Because, it's like,
Yeah.
everything is done with like, this is so the thing. And it's like, and then if anybody criticizes it, what's wrong with you? Like, should we really be doing sessions on kids? How dare you bring up L. Ron Hubbard as a possibility that he would want to harm a child? Well, to start, Reese, why were we not allowed to leave the room? Why? Why was that how is that a religious experience for a child? You have children. If you lock up your kid today and he wants to leave the room and you don't let him, what reaction do you get from a kid, an animal? Literally, like you put an animal in a place, a confined space where they don't want to be. It's like, if that's not abuse, it's like, how much clearer do we have to be, you guys? Literally, like, dog. I love doing with my notes, Reese. Like, dog, room, locked, can't get out, okay?
Right.
No ability to leave.
Right.
Because it's like,
I mean, it's trapping anyone or anything is, you're right. I mean,
and it's
and
like,
we were.
why? How? Like, when did you think that it was a good idea to do that? Like, in what world is that a good idea, you guys? Honestly,
Right. True.
it's like, it's just not. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? We have to call out the insanity. Like, all of that insanity it's insanity by memo, Reese. When you think about it, L. Ron Hubbard, what did he write? Dumbass memos.
All the time.
Like, memo, and everyone's like, oh, the memo, like, make sure. It's like, okay, y'all, like, literally stop the clownery right now, because it's like, if the memo said here to do, okay, but where's your critical thinking skills? Where are
Right.
they? But the memo said it. If it said it, okay, it doesn't matter, right? It's like, again, it's like L. Ron Hubbard didn't have all the right answers at all. In fact, he had all the wrong answers.
He did. And that was one of my things when I was coming out. I said that to some of the people that I talked to that were still in. I said, everybody says in Scientology, you think for yourself, but my whole life, I was born into it, was literally all the time. Well, LRH says this. Well, LRH says that. Well, let's see what LRH says. And I thought, wait a minute. That was one of my biggest things I started questioning, like right at the end. I was like, I'm not thinking for myself. I'm thinking, what does LRH say? LRH says this. Like, I don't have a single thought that's my own original thought. You don't think for yourself. That's a total lie.
It is. It
That was
is.
one of the biggest things
And
I
the joke is
realized.
on us. Again, it's like the joke is on us because we didn't consent to this stupidity. Like when we were being told to do these things and these platitudes were being told to us as if we were adults and we understood what the hell they were saying, like sit in front of your sister and bull bait her. It's like, what the are you saying? Like what? Like this is so embarrassing and dumb and gross. Like it always gave me like the creeps. Like why this is so weird. Like
All
this
the
is
time.
just so
Me too.
weird.
Me too. It never felt natural to me. I don't know about you, but it never felt every time. Like every time we'd do a drill or a process, I would think in my head, like, okay. It was like that hesitation of like, okay, I guess. And then I would just relax and believe it. You know, it was like, well,
Well, it was,
this is the
you know,
truth.
we were
So
being disassociated, you know, it's like they were disassociating us because that's the disgust that we felt at the time. We couldn't voice it. We would get in more trouble if we said we don't want to do it. I mean, you couldn't tell your parents you didn't want to do something. Like that was not allowed in the
right.
vocabulary. Like you're doing as you're told. You're doing as you're told. You're an adult in small body. Like read these policies. Like never mind that we were 5 or 6. Like write your overts and your withholds. Like that is just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And it's like, I'm sorry. Like you need to be checked, ma'am. Like, I'm sorry. Like, oh, the L. Ron Hubbard's. I don't care what L. Ron Hubbard said. Let's start with that fact. I don't care.
Right.
Right? Like, but he advised it. He put it in a book. He has a New York Times bestseller. Who cares? Who
Well,
cares?
he was God. I mean, he was God to them.
Yeah. The New York Times couldn't be more endorsing this 19 times, you guys. I mean, this is why it's state-sponsored abuse of minors at scale, with everyone having somehow blood in their hands. The New York Times, 19 times. The LA Times doesn't write anything about this. The Tampa Bay Times waters it all down. Literally, like anyone of the press that's supposed to be checking the temperature of corruption, they cannot be found anywhere. The entire United States, you cannot find a single journalist that has infiltrated the hotel so they can get their own evidence and stop relying on children that were abused ad nauseum and child trafficked to give you receipts that y'all are not even going to understand because you don't do the heavy lifting. And then you're like, well, that's all alleged. So you know what?
Yeah.
That's not what we want for the press of the United States right now. And let's just see what the story develops into. All this disgusting abuse that you just made us share with us for the 10th billion time, because it hasn't been like we haven't already been to all these outlets, you guys, and seen what they do and see how they package their own cookie for profits. Literally, that's all they give an F about. Profits, profits, profits. How much money are we getting out of this? Okay, you guys, okay, bye. Literally, they could literally have cared any less. You know, get all manner of stuff wrong, details wrong. Like we'll get into the specifics because we're going to continue auditing the media so we can, you know, yes, right now we're generalizing, but you know what? We're going to get specific AF. The devil's in the details, and we got the receipts and the details and all the heavy lifting that we've had to do for due diligence to understand the subject. We understand it. If you don't understand it, that's not our problem.
That's
You
right.
know, you guys in the comments understand it because you're spending the time listening to us and you can see that we're clear AF. Like we're not here to talk about this for the next ad nauseum. Like we're done. Like it's pretty clear what's going on. So what's going to happen? When is the Clearwater Police going to wake the F up?
That's so true.
Literally, like what? You haven't seen anything in 5 decades, Clearwater Police? Nothing suspicious at all? 5 decades? Where's the arrests in Florida to do with anything that happens at that hotel? This many, you guys. I mean, you guys that like to do the research and all of that, go ask the Clearwater Police. What's on the public record? How many incidents have they found of anything going on, of minors not running around at the beach at odd hours of the night trying to escape, only to be brought back to the hotel? Over and over and over and over and over and over again. In Clearwater PD, you know exactly what in the hell we're talking about. So play dumb all you want. You're only a block away from this hotel.
That's right.
So Y'all got cameras everywhere, but nothing has been seen in 5 decades of the hotel operating there.
That's right.
You know, all the minors go through the Tampa Bay airport, you guys, where there is no security, apparently. Literally, bring any child you want through the Tampa Bay airport, and guess what? Nothing will raise a red flag through that airport.
Wow.
Nothing raises a red flag through the Tampa Bay airport. The people that check in on these minors coming in from all manner of countries and states, I mean, you, Reese, me over there, Mexico, Kansas, you from New Zealand, you from Switzerland, you from us, you know, we all thought we were cool. We're so international. Aren't we so cool and sophisticated? Well, you know what? We weren't that cool, and we were definitely not sophisticated at all. It was a disgusting hotel with, I don't know what these people were being pitched to come in and partake in. Because you know what? Now that we understand the facts, we couldn't be more disgusted. So, you know, the problem is, why are y'all not disgusted? That's the problem. It's not that we are disgusted. Don't project it on us. Oh, you're such the big ass piece. You're so wrong. It's like, we're not wrong. You're not disgusted. Go check on yourself. Why in the hell you're not disgusted? Because you
That's
should.
true. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to live with yourself.
On just mere principle, it's all disgusting. Now, how you got co-opted into that, and the contracts you signed and the pitches that you bought that were all BS, again, go sort it out for yourselves. We wouldn't wish that on our worst enemy. The betrayal blindness is real, AF. And it's like, if you were afraid of OT3 data that's going to make you go crazy, that's the OT3 data right there. L. Ron Hubbard is a piece of shit, and everything was BS. So now reckon with that fact. Literally. Like, reckon with it. And yeah, good luck if you don't go insane after what you made your children go through. Because of you wanted to be so about L. Ron Hubbard because he was such a genius, right? We're wrong. He wasn't a genius. He was a disgusting felon that was on the run, a convicted felon. He got convicted in absentia in France. Again, something that, you know, people don't even think about because the corporate media couldn't be more clueless. The New York Times couldn't have a shred of a second thought about giving this guy 19 New York Times bestsellers. Never mind, he's a convicted felon in absentia in France, where he was convicted for fraud. And he went on the run on his little ship, collecting more minors to traffic aboard his stupid ship. You know, that's when I think Mike Rinder was in that ship as a minor, and Janice and all these other kids, Shelley Miscavige, all these other kids. They're all prodigies of this disgusting human trafficker, L. Ron Hubbard. He was the OG. I mean, if you guys think Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine were so sophisticated and cool and had a big operation, L. Ron Hubbard runs circles around Ghislaine and Jeffrey times a billion, trillion, zillion. Talk about billion-year contract. Well, you know what? A billion circles around Ghislaine and Jeffrey is L. Ron Hubbard. You know, what Tom Cruise gives a lot of money to. Because, you know, it's not just another like Prince Andrew and Tom Cruise and all of Hollywood, all the wokes, because we're so woke in Hollywood. Oh my God, we're so woke. And, you know, listen to us, you guys. Listen to us. Really. The people in Hollywood know what the hell we're talking about. Wrong. Wrong. The wokes couldn't be less woke. Couldn't be more fake. Couldn't be more useless or pathetic. Like, literally, open up the Hollywood Reporter to hear how they pitch Marisol Nichols, like that one that came up in the chat, as the so-called woman that's got it all figured out on the child trafficking, guys. It's like, yeah, Marisol Nichols, this woman from Scientology, she's the poster child of child trafficking according to the Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter. So if the Hollywood Reporter feels so comfortable about pitching Ms. Nichols as the face that's going to save America from child trafficking, because child trafficking only happens in seedy motels that truck drivers drive, you guys. Just FYI, according to Ms. Nichols, it's the only way that child trafficking happens in America. So, you know, when you start connecting the dots and contextualizing what we have in front of us, it's like we couldn't be more revolted. But it's like, by a whole bunch of connections, not just Scientology. Like, you know, they're under the influence of L. Ron Hubbard. They at least have that excuse, you guys. The people at the pathetic media are not under the influence of L. Ron Hubbard, so they just aren't doing their job. They're just literally are sitting on the sidelines doing nothing, you know, waiting for the story to develop somewhere.
Yeah. It's okay. Huxley's home. Oh, Serge, you've only been on for a short time with me. I've been on now for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I think this is a pretty I think this is a pretty good ending, man.
I'm so glad that we were able to do this. I'm so glad I was able to talk to you today. Again, I talked a lot about you before you jumped on the chat, but I just thank you for that conversation.
You're welcome. And again, you know, we all have to show up for everyone, and that's what we're doing here. You know, we
Yeah.
are showing up for everyone, and you know, get your emotional support pets, because that's where if there's any magic to life, guys, it's literally just pets. I mean,
Oh God,
as
for me it is.
ridiculous as that sounds or whatever,
Not to
you
me.
know what? It's like
I'd go crazy without my pets. I have
dog
to have
and
animals.
God, and you know what? We believe in pets. There's unconditional love there. There's a sweet journey. There's, like, you know, rehabilitation of our spirit and kindness, and you know, the things that really matter. Like, you know, all this fluff and all this materialism, you know, like, it's just BS. You know, like, who cares? You know, so
Yes.
we have our spine walking out of that hotel. You know what? We're grateful. Like, we're one of the lucky few. You
Yes.
know, and we invite everyone else to put their spines right back. They're like literally at the door. Just walk out of the hotel, grab your spine, put it back, and be like, no, this is BS. And yes, I can have an opinion. And no, I don't need to check in with L. Ron Hubbard or David Miscavige or Monique Yingling or Debbie Cook or Dan O'Connor or nobody. I don't care what you have to say. It doesn't matter. Like,
That's
it's like
true.
literally, you know?
It's
So
true.
we just have to advocate. Like, we're showing up here on YouTube to advocate every day until this dysfunction ends. So whatever we have to do, we're going to keep doing, and we're going to keep showing up, and we're going to keep growing, and we're going to keep growing the message, and we're going to make people do their job, because it's time for them to do their MF job. We're all taxpayers subsidizing this government. And you know what? It's like, for too many years, this organization has subsidized whatever in the hell they got going on with the government. We don't care about that, but we don't care about our taxpayer dollars not going to be subsidizing this operation. It's not going to happen anymore. We're saying, no, you're not giving them my money. They're not going to own half of Los Angeles and downtown and Kansas. And no, it's not going to happen. Not on our dime. Y'all figure it out between yourselves. Maybe you can cut another deal of a corporation where blah, 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 but no more minors signing contracts. It's very simple. Like, we don't have a big ask. It's like, not a shred last one minor gets to sign a contract like Reese and I.
Yes.
Full stop. So,
true.
you know, the sooner you start figuring out how you reorganize your hotel so that they don't run on child trafficking, the better. You know, the better. Because you should not be running it with kids. You should be running it with adults 21 and up that want that experience. And that has to be made very, very clear to them. Not in 10 pages that say this and that and da. No, make it clear in the first paragraph. This is what this contract is. That's it. That's all we're asking. Simple shit. It's like step 1, 2, and 3. Not more.
I love your passion, Serge. I love how passionate you are. I just want to say hi to this Jeff, and then also my other Jeff is in the chat, my husband Jeff. But Jeff, thank you for the super chat. I didn't want you to feel not acknowledged. I'm going to cook dinner. Serge, what are you going to do?
I am going to drink some lemonade. I'm
Nice.
thirsty.
I'm going to make fried green tomatoes.
Mm.
I love fried green tomatoes, and I can only make them in the summer, and they're so good.
Turn up that heat.
Like my favorite
Turn
thing.
it up all the way up. You're like, boil those tomatoes.
I love fried green tomatoes and okra.
Yay. Okay, well,
I
yum,
love you
yum.
for coming on. Thank you for
Yes,
coming on.
of course. Thank you guys for supporting us in the chat, and we'll see you
Yes.
guys very, very, very soon.
We'll be back on, I promise. All right.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.